To the upside we go. Here is the market digests Netflix earnings better than expected. Tesla on deck now. Will we get another Tesla model coming up before 2025? Those are the rumors this morning that are circling ahead of their earnings report. There's been talk about this hatchback model that was in the works over the past couple of years, potentially that supposedly going to be aimed at a more affordable, larger audience and marketplace. So good look for Tesla this morning going into earnings. We'll touch on that. Semiconductors back to the upside. I mean, tech across the board. What can you say? The NASDAQ continues to lead. Market back at all-time highs here as we get going on a Wednesday. It's Wednesday, January 24th, 2024. tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, there is a very strong looking daily chart for the NASDAQ, or the Qs anyways, back to highs once again yesterday at the close. I mean, it's been yesterday, the day before, the trend continuing, as you can see. This is kind of interesting, though. This note highlighting the simple fact that, yeah, maybe this rally is starting to broaden to other parts of the market, which would be definitely healthy for the overall market. Chips getting a little bit of a hand here this morning from ASML, out with better than expected earnings. Netflix, the headliner, obviously. We'll touch on that coming up throughout the morning. Netflix doing all kinds of volume already. I also saw Spotify to the upside this morning to the tune of about 3%, going to launch in-app ads and purchasing ability in Europe for the first time. So good look for Spotify.
Yeah, and that was one of the concessions Apple made with the European regulator that was going to allow in-app in-app purchases to be diverted away from its app store, as well as being able to use the NFC technology to make payments using different apps, so not just Apple Pay. So we'll have to see how that works. But I got to tell you, Brendo, I'm a little shaken by these Netflix reports. I mean, we were talking about this off camera. We'll talk more about it later, but the profit is just eye-watering.
Yeah, massive. Quarter over quarter, I mean, right across the board, year over year is just huge for Netflix. I'm very excited as well. We get a Bank of, I'm not very excited, let's be trying to make it exciting. We get a Bank of Canada interest rate announcement today. They changed the time, I saw. 9:45.
Okay.
Too much else going on, I guess, at 10 o'clock, so they're trying to squeak it in at 9:45. Going to be about what Governor Macklem, there you go, says going forward, but no change expected. We're talking about it with Frank going back to Tuesday. No change expected for the Bank of Canada, but the first of a few big ones coming up this week. The European Central Bank going to make their announcement tomorrow. So a few things to watch. Dollar back downside, yields back downside this morning. All signs point to positive, guys, for the market once again.
Yeah, I think that's what green means.
Is it a day that ends in Y?
Let me think about this.
I mean, it's like every day we come in and it's like the stock market's just up and away. New all-time highs again.
So many things have broken out recent highs.
I like.
It's stupid. Like Sharif just mentioned Spotify out of nowhere. Boom, just broke a 52-week high. ASML, which we talked about, well, AMAT randomly broke a 52-week high as well. We know, you guys all know about Netflix. Like, Netflix up 10% here. I don't know, it's not to throw shade on Netflix, but I seem to remember the last few times when we had major gap ups on earnings, that it ended up like an inside type day for Netflix in particular. But believe me, there's enough things moving out there that we don't have to worry about too many inside days. I don't care what the market does sometimes when you have so many names in play. Almost every chip name is looking strong off the ASML earnings. If Netflix is going to continue to rally, you've got a chance at some Disney opportunities. You saw that move yesterday as well. I mean, you've still got some of the small cap runners that are going. I wasn't short that GETR, but that was a penny stock, which is, I guess, the one of today. I wasn't a long in that one. I think that's going to be, it's a great volume there. Maybe we'll see about DWAC. It feels like now that it's essentially over, like what's the next? Like, I mean, Trump's pretty much got it, so I don't know if it isn't a bit of a sell event because you've got the news. But yeah, you got to be excited. And there's this random company that reports tonight that everyone's interested in. they do something with regards to vehicles, or I don't know, some kind of alternative energy vehicle. You might have heard of them. There's something about a robot they're also trying to do, and they're also trying to make a cheaper car.
Yeah, Ford?
Was it Ford?
I think it's Ford.
Yeah, I think it's Ford. I think it's Ford.
The Ford robot?
What would Ford's robot be called? Always broken?
POS? Okay, so yeah, man. I mean, congratulations. We can be shocked about Netflix. We can be shocked about whatever stock, but every single report that's going to be coming out, yeah. When Microsoft beats, is that going to surprise us? If tonight's report should be interesting with Tesla, but I was saying that yesterday. Remember? I mean, just congratulations, anybody that listened to anything that I said. I said Netflix is coiling up for a beat. I talked about it riding this 50-period moving average. So there it is. It's right there. They were waiting for the report. Bang, there it is. Breaks. You have no chance to get it. Congratulations, Netflix is a monster. On to the next, right? I probably won't be trading it today, so just FYI. $94 down here on Disney is something that's on the sticky note in a trade that we've been really hitting the last little while. We've been looking at Disney trades, and we've also talked about Disney holding this $90 mark as well. So you've gotten a nice bump up, looking to take 95, and then this is that level that people were selling at 96 bucks. So I think that everybody up here, if we can break through this wall of $95, $96, then that's going to complete this cup. You're going to blast through it, and then that's it, man. Next up, $100, $102, $104, something like that for Disney. So it's just because we're in earnings season here, I keep forgetting like what dates are which. Dish, DIS. Well, Dish Network reports on February 22nd, if anybody was interested in that. All right, there it is, Disney. Feb 7th, so you got two and a half weeks until Disney comes through. I like this play here. If streaming is going to continue to be strong, I don't think Disney will put up, any kind of growth like Netflix did. But at the same time,
That happens.
I just mean percentage of growth, right? I mean, they could do it. We'll just see here breaking through this $96. We're still long Disney, and it's still a pretty decent sized position. So let's see if it works right there. But it's a good day. For the market. I mean, NASDAQ's up almost 1% already.
I mean, the ES almost half,
Yeah.
the ES over 0.5%, I should say. Like, it's the one thing I'll say about Disney is, to me, it might go, but I'm glad I'm out of that stock, because I felt like one of the things I said when I got out of Disney, and at the time I was actually waiting for the 100 level. I was like, oh, let's look at the chart here. Disney's bouncing off the lows. I think it has room to get to. I break 100 and then I'd sell it like in front of that. I was like, oh yeah, I want to be out of the stock. Let's wait for a technical level to go. And then once it didn't, it's like, this doesn't make any sense. If you like something in your long term, or you don't like something in your long term, you like something better. My question was, I own two things. Amazon streams as well, so does Apple. But I own one streamer and one that is being treated like a streamer, and which one do I like better? My answer was Netflix. So once I came to that realization, it's like, okay, I don't care where Disney is. I'm just selling it and then move the money into Netflix. I don't care what the technicals look like at that point, because I'm just holding it forever. So Disney, I think Disney holding the 50 period and possibly breaking this channel actually looks good. It's just you have to always think in terms of, are you trading it or are you holding it? I know which one I'd rather hold, but for the trade today, like Sean said and I said as well, I'm more likely to trade Disney today, just like in the afternoon yesterday, than I would be on Netflix. I do remember Netflix earnings being a bit of a disappointment. As a day trade, the last time they gapped up like this.
We were just talking about credit card debt across the board being a problem still in the U.S. But I was just saying to Sharif, I heard her ad on the radio on the way in here this morning, advertising that you can now pay in installments for a vacation. It was like finance from $30 a month and go to Mexico for a week.
And the thing is, it's at the checkout, so it's a firm.
Yeah.
Well, in Canada, I only know the Canadian checkout. It's a company called PayBright, and it's owned by a firm. And when you go to checkout, instead of paying by your credit card, you finance it for a few $100 a month. So.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Let's talk about DWAC here. Crazy week to the upside. Even yesterday, we get all the way up to 58, pulls back into the close. Bit of a gap down here. Not a lot of volume. I was expecting it to be a little more active. I mean, obviously, people focusing on other things like Netflix. AMD like Tesla going into their report tonight. 8% downside coming out of the New Hampshire primary last night.
Yeah, look, I mean, he didn't win as aggressively as he won last time around in Iowa, but she was widely expected to do a little bit better. There were more independent voters in New Hampshire. He ended up winning, and now we look to South Carolina to see if she's going to stay in the race.
Yeah, it seems like a done deal at this point, matter of time. The surprise, I guess, in the sense of what happened yesterday and the day before, the amount of volume that came on the back of those headlines for DWAC, nowhere near the same here this morning, guys, back below that 50 level once again.
For all purposes, like the race, like the primary race is over. Like it's Trump versus Biden, and that's what everyone's looking forward to for the next. You guys tell me how many. I know it's near to a year that you're out, so call it like 300 days or whatever it works out to be. That's what you're looking for. And really, the volume's telling you the story here. Like yesterday at this time, we're like, oh my goodness, DWAC. Blah, blah, 50 level. It never really had anything above the 50 at the open. It just couldn't seem to get going. Eventually, when it broke that 50, it was explosive to the upside. Today, like there was one move at 7 o'clock when some retail came in. That was quickly faded. And then that shelf broke. It's got another shelf to the downside on very light volume. Less than 1 million shares have done today. If it's going to be some kind of a pullback, and everyone sort of gives it up, and if that happens, I mean, Fun has a pretty clean 42 level. So if DWAC starts failing precipitously and this one is available for short, I think it just kind of makes sense. But sometimes you get like a sell the news event. In this particular case, the hype was it's primary season, Trump momentum, let's go DWAC Fun and all that good stuff. Well, it's now over. The primaries are pretty much over. So I think that story probably slows down for a little bit. It doesn't mean it can't pick back up, but I'm not really looking for the explosive long today on those. If anything, I'll look for a spot to fade Fun.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are already talking about it in the chat. You guys know it's not really an investable name. It's just a trading tool to make money. And that's what we're going to try to do over and over again. And DWAC is just one of those names that I think you can be patient for levels and then just wait for it to break. So 50-50 right here on the 20-minute chart. I would say if we break above that, then we could get, you know, testy back here, 56, 58. So you're looking to see something about a break right there. And then if you're going to wait for something to happen now, I think you're stuck in the middle. I don't like this trade right here. And the reason why I'm using a little bit of a bigger time frame is just for that exact reason. I don't think we traded in the middle. So then I would say you have to look here. That's 41.50. Then you bring it down to $40. So I would say if you're going to wait, I would wait for 41.40 and then punch the out. If you get lower than, I had a video up about punching out on my Instagram. You guys might want to go find that. $38 right there, I would say would be your sort of line in the sand where you say, that's it, I'm out. If we break through $38. So that's a level right there to be interested in for DWAC. So I would say, play the dip if you want to sort of get a little spicy with it. Maybe you've made some money on DWAC over the last couple of days. You want to put it back in. I would say look at 40, 41 right into this area. Get out if it comes through 38. And then if you're looking for super aggressive and you think that we can moon again or at least get that 10%, then I would look for this little level right there, 51, 50, 50, something like that. The spread will open up. So you're just going to have to probably pay 30, 40 cents more than you want to anyway. So I still think DWAC is in play, and you know, you'll be able to trade it for a little bit of volume here. 750,000 shares is one of the top movers here today already. So
a couple things here. Boeing back positive right now. It did gap downside in a decent fashion as well. There was comments after the close yesterday from this ongoing investigation that when it comes to the Alaskan Airlines 737 MAX 9s specifically, they did find more loose bolts, quote unquote, loose bolts, just randomly, not even in the actual doors or around the frames of the doors, just randomly more loose bolts. So those planes remain grounded. Now we're hearing about this as well. You have that story about a wheel problem.
Yeah, Brendo, a couple of stories here if we can go to the screen. So the first one, they're actually pausing 737 production for a day while they do quality stand down and controls in their Seattle location. And then yesterday, there was a 757, kind of known as the Ferrari of their Boeing's airplanes because it's just so overpowered anyway. It was taking off in Atlanta and it lost its wheel. So more bad headlines for Boeing.
Yeah, there was that engine fire that happened over in Miami. I saw at
that.
the end of the week last week, and they ended up finding a hole in that engine. So I guess maybe the magnifying glass is finding more problems here, but not good, guys, for Boeing. But here we are, positive anyway.
Well, see, the thing about it is when you have like a major event happen, then some of like the smaller everyday, like, I don't want to say minor issues because, look, if something happens when you're on a plane, you're not going to consider it minor, right? Even if no one gets hurt, like a wheels, whatever, most people are going to take that seriously, and they should take it seriously. But you are going to find more of that in and around an event that was as serious as when the door came off. So let's be honest about it. None of these last couple of, let's call it bad news pieces, have had overwhelming effects on the stock price because you'd already flushed and bounced into 200 here. So given that effect, what I like to see for Boeing is you've made a bit of a range since it flushed like the absolute bottom down at 200, and the top end of that range is still stable. So it's about 217. It's actually 217 here. You've got your 200 bottom in play. Whether or not you look at higher lows, I think I'd respect the bottom that it made of the first test of the high down at about 208, 209. So that sets you up to be very, very patient. Like it's trading at 212. This is exactly an example of what I call like diddling in the middle. The stock has had great movement on a bunch of catalysts, and now you've got to define a range inside. Like either you're waiting for shorts off the top, if you like the fade trade. If you really like the long, then it's been down in like the 08, 09 area. I don't know that that's where I'd want to go today. And if it breaks out, it's got some good room to run. But that's a $5 move it has to make. If Boeing gets to 217 today, well, there's probably a few other things that I'm likely to have traded before I got to Boeing. But I like the range it's in. Like every single day I pull it up, I'm like, is it close to breaking out that top? If answer is yes, then I'm looking for the break. The last couple of days it felt like we had a chance to break it early, and it never got through the high. So, you just got to wait around for it to break that key level. If someone asked me, am I looking at SoFi today? I'm like, yeah. Remember that 770? Well, if it trades down there, I'm going to look at that 770 SoFi. If it holds above 830, we're looking at that breakout. But if it's at $8, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, damn it, when SoFi was up at $10, that was a good opportunity. Look, oh yeah, by the way, we do have a podcast. We'll be filming that on Friday, be posting it up on Saturday, and we talked all about Boeing. We've been talking about Boeing for a couple weeks here, and I kind of broke down a trade when we were down here near in the $200 level. I talked about it yesterday. I still like it. Just think you got to wait. I mean, you're going to break above this 215, 216. Neil just talked about those levels. I really like those as well. To me, it's just not super exciting to trade it. I would rather think that it's just a much better swing trade. I mean, yesterday for Boeing, again, if you're just going to look to see what we did yesterday, it kind of was downside, then you base, right? And so this is kind of what you're looking for. That base was at 213. And then we hit the lows at the end of the day with a big sell imbalance with that big red candle there, which brought this stock down in the last hour or so, down into 211. And then that was held. So I would think that today, if you're excited to trade some Boeing, you get it at VWAP, which is 211. The 200 period is 211.50. I think this 211 is a good spot there for BA. And I'm not afraid of anything as far as worrying about getting stopped out. If you take the 211, you can get stopped out here at 210. It's $1. I think the risk is well worth it. For me, I'd just rather see it start to baseline. Like here, we were in the channel all afternoon. That's not bad. You short, you long until it breaks. So there's something there, But yeah, for me, it's a good story. I like Boeing. I like it a lot down there at 204, 205, and we talked about it against that 175. I think it goes to 230 before it goes back down to $2. So we'll see what happens here with Boeing.
A few other things moving around here, not all good this morning. This one downside in a pretty big way. Texas Instruments, big gap under pressure after their report. We did get a couple of other ones, ISRG, Abbott Labs, TFCX, Freeport, all reporting. And then coming up tonight, Canadian Pacific, Night Swift, there's a few other ones, Lam Research, LRCX. We get the first of the casinos, LVS comes through, Seagate as well, and of course, Yep, Tesla. So if we get this hatchback announcement, it was interesting. We even said yesterday, you know, with Netflix teaming up with WWE is kind of one of those things that you would expect to be on the earnings call, or maybe could have been on the earnings call. If Elon gets on the call and says we're officially making this hatchback, I don't even know if it matters what the numbers are for Tesla tonight, but I know you'll be first in line if that's the case.
Oh, and I'll be kicking myself for not having invested, right? Because I'm still not in Tesla. Guys, here's what's going on. It's called Project Redwood, and it's essentially the concept to try to build a $25,000 EV. I think we might have to actually change that number a bit, because when he said $25,000, that was pre the inflation that we just got over the last couple of years. Essentially what they did here was they went and bought a Honda Civic, Brendo. They took the entire thing apart. They're like, how do we make a cheap car? So apparently that's his modus operandi there. More to come on that, though.
I mean, Honda Civics, I think, are like $45,000 in this country now, so it's not necessarily a cheap car per se, but we get the plan. But no, that'll be huge if we get that tonight. Let's get some analyst moves here. Dara has upgrades and downgrades for us.
Netflix getting one of 20 analyst price target increases following its earnings here from Pivotal Research Group with a price target of $700. Absolutely one to watch today, up about 10% right now. United Airlines getting an upgrade here from TD Cowen. First Horizon here with an upgrade from UBS. And AMD, a second upgrade in 2 days here. This one from New Street initiating coverage with a buy and a $215 price target. Plug Power getting a downgrade and 6 different price target decreases this downgrade here from BMO Capital Markets. Stellantis getting a downgrade from HSBC Securities. And Ford, another one of those big auto names here, getting a downgrade from Redbird Atlantic. Last but not least, another car associated name, Uber, with a downgrade from Gordon Haskett, guys.
Definitely a theme there. It was like very much auto related or auto adjacent.
Oh, we got, see? I started something yesterday.
Now we've got the transparent coffee mugs. You got to be a little more careful clinking those. See, that's how you drink that coffee black. So the Henry robot apparently is not going to be a thing if Ford keeps getting downgrades. But that's a stock that's just boring. Like, let's be real about it. Like, when it shows up on the upgrade and downgrade list, I can't remember the last time I looked at it and didn't think it was going to move only 10 cents or 15 cents in the day. But Uber, on the other hand, them getting a downgrade after just, look, every single day it's been making a strong run to the upside, and it just had a couple of little red days off that 66 level. So it is pulling back a little bit here. What makes it interesting, if there is a down day, let's just say today ends up a down day and we end up flushing, the way this lit grabbed 62, oh, that's the level. So I'm gonna fire this in. I don't think, just because it's a downgrade doesn't mean I'm thinking it's gonna go from $64 to $62 today, but it does put on the radar reminder for myself of how this rallied. Like, look how it rallied off 62. That's on the 11th. It went $1.50. That's in the afternoon. Like at noon it did that. And then a couple of days later, bounced off 62 into 63 on a day that it was looking pretty weak. So, you know, put that on the radar on Uber. It doesn't mean it gets to that price or that's at the top of the list, but if the market goes red or if this stock sees that 62 level, maybe this could get it there. I'd be looking to buy Uber at that price.
Look, AMD is the #1 stock on the sticky note. We're obviously going to start talking about chips very soon as we run down the watch list. So I'm not going to discuss AMD, but I will in a couple minutes. So stay with me. Look, Plug Power gets a downgrade. I actually said to Sharif, what a great out that was when he was long at 10 or whatever it was. So nicely saved on that. But then I was like, holy crap, it's up 100% in like 3 days. So I don't this name got absolutely clocked, but look where we are again. You're right at the 50-period moving average. So you look at this, ride it, you know, all the way down, and then now right here it hits it again. So this is a short, and I don't know what else to tell everybody. I would short this name in and around 380 if you can get to that. That's where we finished yesterday. I think that's a good short into 4. And then if it breaks 4, then you're kind of breaching this little level. And then if you really, you know, didn't want to break yourself at 4, then you'd have to wait for like a 430, which is kind of that top here. But these tops that we have to talk about are just going to be dark pools. So they're not worth anything, in my opinion. So I don't, you know, I don't take that. I would just take 4. So 380 to me is a good top for plug. I think that you can load up there, give yourself, and what I mean by load up, it's going to be dependent on the risk that you're willing to take every single day. So if you're going to say, I'm willing to lose $200 on plug power, then it's 1,000 shares, okay, maybe 800 shares minus fees or whatever in slippage here at 380. And then you risk it to 4, that's 20 cents, right? Times 800, that's your 160. Give yourselves a little bit of slippage. That's how I try to base it out. And I think that that's well worth it. And then if you really, really like it, it's more shares. Or if you think that you want to average in, then you sort of take your first spot right there. But I think plug power on a downgrade, Dara said 6 downgrades or something. I would be on plug power here to the short side.
People are mentioning this EVAX, EVAX. There was a Merck headline yesterday. It also had a 1-for-10 split yesterday. So Merck reported 11.4% passive stake yesterday in this EVAX. It's back up today, though. They're going to develop, listen to this, preclinical activities with the goal to generate proof of concept for cancer vaccines using AI.
Huh. I guess it was a matter of time.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, but EVAX, yeah, very active here anyways for that one. But yeah, teaming up with Merck yesterday. Well, I guess a passive stake doesn't mean they're necessarily teaming up with them. But we'll keep an eye on EVAX. There's a few other little ones flying around. NXU SPRC, once again, that one pops up every now and again. I mean, you were talking about Li Auto earlier, like NIO up 4 and change % here this morning. Decent numbers, though, coming from Li Auto, expectation-wise anyways.
Yeah, I'm no longer involved in this name, guys. Just wanted to put that out there. But they are anticipating about 500,000 deliveries in 2024. It's obviously not Tesla-esque, but moving up quite aggressively there and trying to rival BYD. They're ahead of NIO, they're ahead of XPEV, so they're kind of in the middle there between BYD and some of these other names.
Yeah, NIO positive on the day, as I mentioned as well, to the tune of about 4%. I mean, these things have been crushed over the past few weeks. It's worth noting that EVAX, that was a COVID play as well. Made a big move if you go back to 2020, 2021. So if it sounds familiar, that's probably why.
It did sound vaguely familiar. I was like, why do I know that stock from somewhere? But I don't know if that's going to be that tradable, that EVAX. I pulled it up. It was pretty illiquid. I suppose it could. I mean, anything could happen. Like, look at the ridiculous wicks in the last 2 days on that. I don't know why that 15-minute chart's not going back further, but look at the last couple of days on this EVAX. Like, what trade setup would you be looking for in a stock like this? I don't know. You probably want to look for a consolidation breakout. That seems pretty obvious to me. Like, that's the trade that it looks like it'll give it to you. It's gone a couple in the last couple of days. So maybe if it gets down and does some kind of sideways for like 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, whatever it happens to be, and then you just take like a consolidation break. So when it's calmed down, that's when I think you want to trade that. I just looked over Li Auto and realized the $30 level looks interesting. I hate the volume on Li Auto. That's generally the problem. But $30 right here. I mean, the way it rejected $30 yesterday was pretty epic. A lot of things did this. Tesla did this as well at the open. But that $30 level looks like pretty good resistance on Li Auto. If it somehow was able to punch through that, I think it would be a spicy one. We always try to trade the one that actually has volume, and that's NIO. And it's still, I mean, it didn't get down to that 630 level that I liked until it was clear that it had given up the move. So I was looking dip buy at 630 on NIO yesterday based on that double close. It ended up breaking a little bit higher. You're gapped in front of it now, so I'm looking at dip buy basically the same price. I like this and BABA. So I think go back to the names in the Chinese ADRs that you're comfortable with. Like, I can look at that chart and get excited about Li Auto, but my excitement about that $30 level isn't going to actually create any volume today on Li Auto. Like, Li Auto just doesn't do enough.
So here's yesterday on NIO. It was one of the top stocks here yesterday, and 650 broke. We didn't even hit it. It broke, and we guys were like, oh my God, there goes 650, because I talked about it in the pre-market. Came back in, and we were able to get long 651. Outs up here, 690. Well, it's probably 680, 685 or so for outs. Dip back into view up. This is just a clip that I had from yesterday when we tweeted this out at 9:43. So that was a really great trade off the open. Started to break that level. We didn't get Alibaba, but we definitely made a little bit of cash. on NIO yesterday. So if you're looking to trade that, I'm looking as well, and we should be able to do some damage on that name today. Let's just have a quick look to see what levels we're at. Yeah, so we're still there. I'm not seeing as much love for the name at that level because we did crank it and made them move all the way back down. But this has to be a long down here at 620, so we'll wait to see NIO. I have Alibaba written again here on the sticky note, and I'd much rather play this. I just think I can make more money with it. $74 a long for Alibaba, so that's what we're going to look at here. Was the top yesterday. We'll see if we can hold these levels. 74 on Alibaba for your trade of the day.
Visa here, kind of interesting if you are an F1 fan. Red Bull Formula One team announcing global partnership. Visa to become Red Bull F1 team's first global partner, because Red Bull needs more money for this season. But I mean, I guess if you're leading every single race, you're going to get all the sponsors to jump on your car. I got bad news. Nothing's going to change this year, so sorry.
Who do you
F1
support?
teams. Definitely not Red Bull.
Who do you support?
Mercedes.
Mercedes, okay. All right.
It's been a frustrating few years, I'm not going to lie, but
Not like I know anything about that, Brendo, but
we'll see. Let's go. Let's have a look at how the overall market's setting up here.
48.95, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday. We're well above that right now. 49.20 is where we're trading at. The overnight high that we just actually made, 49.24. So I don't know what the resistance level is going to be because we're quite distant away from that. Let's just say maybe 49.50 if we get going. But let's see if we can hold 4900. If we can't hold that 100-point level, let's look to the top of this flat over here, 48.90 as support.
If you haven't done so yet, absolutely free resource available to you every single day. Has everything you need to know in the pre-market on it. All you need is an email address, and you can have that watch list from us to you for free every single day. Netflix is top of the list, as it should be today. What a move. Sean and I were sitting here after 4 o'clock yesterday, and like the initial move was actually down on that EPS number. But then as soon as the sub number came, and then as soon as the actual revenue number came and everything, it was just an absolute rocket ship. So, I mean, there's not much to say. It's impressive across the board.
It's ridiculous.
Top to bottom, it looks good for Netflix.
The first thing that I said to Neil when I walked in today, and I said it to you as well, I just couldn't believe the amount of profit increase year over year. Guys, listen to this. Okay, so in 2022, quarter 4, how much did they make? Well, they made about $55.3 million in total profit. Add 1 year to that, now we're talking about $937 million in total profit. That's owing to a few reasons. Number 1, we know that they started cracking down on passwords. Number 2, they added an ad tier. And number 3, they increased their prices. So it was all in all a good year for Netflix, Brendo. And he was asked, one of the co-CEOs was asked on the call about possible acquisitions of fledgling media companies, the Paramounts, the Warner Brothers. He's like, no, we're not interested in picking up those at all. If anything, we'll do some business with them, but no M&A here.
So why would they want the headache at this point? They're crushing it already. I haven't found it yet, but I'm going to continue to look here. I want to see the actual ad revenue number versus the sub number. So we'll dig into this a little bit more, but yeah. Pretty good here, guys, for Netflix.
Look, we talked about Netflix yesterday. Good call there by Brendan. I mean, can you believe we went down to 485 there? This is why. And hey, Sharif, remember when you first started here and I go, there's some crazy guy behind me that keeps trading earnings on earnings days and aftermarket. And I said, dude, you're drilling yourself, or digging your own grave doing that. It's very, very hard to catch the algos, and that's why you got to be careful. But there it is. Brendan's 100% right, man. We were sitting there on the recap show. Make sure you watch the recap show every single day, and especially now as we talk about earnings and what's going on. But remember when yesterday I posted the Netflix data, and we even talked about that on the show and kind of the subs. And now I have to find it, but they just kept growing and growing and growing. Well, guess what, man? Here it is right here on the sticky note or on our watch list right here. And it was just an explosion of users all the way to the high side, right? Global paid subscribers just kept ripping. I didn't see any reason for that to slow down. Plus you get that cheaper tier. And here goes Netflix, man. Yesterday we talked about it coiling up, bouncing off the 50-period moving average. We said there could be a $50 move or so. It was 6 to 7%. Well, that's highlighted now to the top side. Netflix blows it away. Fantastic. Not much else to say, man. This name from the bottom has been an absolute rock star. I'm going to be very, very tough to trade. I'm going to say the same thing that I say on every single earnings play, and that is let the stock base out one way or the other. Either it has this top at 545 and we could just keep shorting it, or you wait for a bottom to base out, which could be here at 537. Either way, I don't think this is a trade in the first 10 or 15 minutes because we don't know. Like if you come in now and you're long Netflix like 480, you may just take your profit, so that could tank. That could send this down a couple percentage points, which would be dramatic, right? And so if I take shares at 535, where's my out? You got to hold it to $5 to 530, right? So just be careful with Netflix, let it base out, but congratulations. I thought that was kind of an easy one, but good job on Netflix. I probably won't trade it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I know I know this for a fact. The last few times that they've reported, I know I haven't traded it the last couple of the massive gaps that it has on the reports. Every time that I've traded Netflix in the last 2 years, at least on this show, has been during lunchtime on a move where it was like a mean reversion and it was consolidating off of a top where you could actually get a bit tighter spreads and a little better risk to reward. And it was like VWAP retracement style trades. It was not 930 trading. But on the weekly chart, the stair step up looks great. And the best thing about Netflix is, unlike a lot of other names which charts will pull up, you're not necessarily even at those highs. The big levels still have a ways to go. Like the next one, you got 566, 567 in here where it gave up some support. And even that gap probably gives you, that's like 65 to 85. Like that's a $20 price range where you'd have theoretically the next resistance. And then even then, there's something at the 620 level. Or that was the shelf that fell. The one that really fell was that 600 to 620 level. So you still have room to get there to the upside. It doesn't mean it's going to happen today. If it starts gap filling, like Sean was saying, I think it's a little bit of guesswork as to where the bid would come in. So I doubt I trade this one today. Something along the lines of defined levels like Disney, 94. I traded the 94 late in the day, right at VWAP. It was kind of underneath that 94 level. Small scalp trading in there, but it gives you defined levels that you can work off of here. And then Disney, this 96 top. I don't know if we can break it out today without Netflix, but the 94 at least looks good on Disney. And just because something is in play doesn't mean it has a setup that's there for you. But if you do like that dip buy for swinging, I like the quarters level looks pretty good, 525. You just won't see me on the bid at 930.
We didn't mention it yet, but Rumble also pretty active here this morning. Already 2+ million on RUM downside, though 3% and change right now for RUM. Don't see anything new on that one. Let's talk semiconductors here. Back to the upside again today. This is AMD. I mean, it's ASML that was out this morning with the earnings better than expected across the board. I mean, I think everyone was expecting it to be better, but how much better is the actual question. All-time highs possible, maybe once again today for most of these. I mean, so strong once again.
Yeah, AMD, the rocket chip, basically retraced a little bit yesterday. I caught actually a downgrade yesterday, which is probably why we retraced a little bit. But yeah, like you said, probably looking at all-time highs. Let's talk about ASML here, because one of the most important semiconductor equipment companies in the world reported. They beat on the top and bottom line as well, and they're forecasting revenue, though, for 2024 to be awfully similar to 2023. What really stood out to me with this company is their gross margins. It's very similar to software gross margins in the 50%, Brendo, 51.4% gross margins, but they still talk about this new export ban that they have to adhere to for China, saying that it's going to impact about 10 to 15% of their business.
I was just noticing here, I mean, it's not a lot of volume. This is an $800+ stock, but What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. $125 move in 6 days.
It's crazy.
For ASML.
Fantastic.
Remember when ASML was at the 200-period moving average, everybody? It's just what they do is so very specific. It's kind of like, you know how like ARM is in everybody's chip because they're so power efficient? You cannot make high-end quality chips, high-performance chips, without their lithography machines. And the crazy thing about the whole China story is it's not like their top machine, the one that NVIDIA uses for all of their best chips. They've never had an export license for it to China anyway. So they do revenue in China. It's just not as big of a deal for them. It's not much of a tradable stock. It's primary listings in Amsterdam, and it's like $700. But the top of my mix today was AMD, mostly because the level that was presented yesterday or the last couple of days in AMD. So if you like the chip names today, AMD resisted 170. So on a 15-minute chart 2 days ago, you had like one little green candle at the open, and that faded the 170. Then you held underneath it. Yesterday, you tried to get to 170. You got to like 169.67 or something like that, and couldn't break through. So that's where I'm looking for the dip in AMD. And I'm just thinking trend. We always talk about joining the trend. If you're looking dip buy and you're bullish on the chips and the dip buy doesn't come in, you've got to be able to find the trend. That was the case with Alibaba yesterday. You had to just look for that higher low to set up. Once it does, it bounced off in front of your level but never got you picked up. Look for that stair step to the upside. So I like this 170 on AMD. There was a note on Intel. Intel reports tomorrow night, and there was a note on Intel. I forget who it was. I don't know, maybe, I'm not going to, whatever. The analyst doesn't necessarily matter, but on their report, they gave like a neutral rating on it or something, or they initiated coverage at neutral and said 2024 could be a difficult year for Intel. So Intel was gapping up and holding higher. That's what this little pullback would be. If this gets to flat on the day, it's at about $49. That's the level that I'd be looking for on Intel for a dip buy.
All right, so we're going to talk about AMD as well. AMD right here, 170 long, small upgrade today, dipped down early yesterday and held all afternoon. So we're going to look for dips again. If you need some more information on what I'm going to be trading, it'll be right here. Affirm, BABA, AMD, Tesla, and Disney down here as it was written. So Affirm was a monster short yesterday. We crushed that one. We're looking to do that again here today if it does pop up. But yesterday on AMD, I mean, here's the move that we're talking about, that I'm talking about. Early, so like moved down and everyone thought the sky was falling, but then we kind of just went back to the previous day's low there at 164, and then just ripped off of that. And then here's that sort of that base that I was kind of talking about in the afternoon, where we kind of came back in and hit that 167.50 again and gave you that long, right? So pretty tricky to trade in the middle of the day, but you do want to get some big moves early. So if we dip down again, I just looked at this top from yesterday of 169.70, whatever it was, and then said that if we can come into 170, I think that's a good spot to start buying. But then we have this 171 now where the 200 period is. That could be a good spot to start buying as well. AMD, it's been my biggest winner and it's been my biggest loser. So we'll have to wait to see what happens again here today. But I feel much more comfortable buying this in and around 170 than trying to chase it right now. Nice upgrade. It's up 2%. This is an absolute monster. This is one of the biggest names that I'm worried about heading into earnings season.
Lots of positive talk on Tesla this morning going into earnings. Couple of things of note. I was just reading a funny note on their latest version of full self-driving, and comparing it to the fact that they haven't been able to solve the windshield wiper turning on just randomly, apparently, and a beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky.
Oh boy.
But version 12 of FSD is pretty impressive, according to this analyst I was just reading. There's still, I don't know if you've seen, but there's still all kinds of people talking about issues with the Cybertruck, specifically in snow, to a point where Rivian came out yesterday with a statement saying, hey, just buy Rivian because we have quote unquote snow mode apparently on their vehicles. But anyways, Redwood, which is apparently this more compact crossover, possibly coming tonight as well with earnings.
Yeah, look, they want to scale this too, Brendo. So it's not like this is going to be made in low quantities. At its peak, they want to make about 10,000 of these a week. So we'll have to see how they do. Again, we talked about this at the top of the show. They're looking about having a $25,000 price point, but I think we need to adjust that a little bit for inflation. They want to start manufacturing this, they say, in the middle part of 2025. But again, you know, tougher to do. We'll have to see if he sleeps on the couch this time around.
The interesting part to this as well, it might be more than just like one base car, but maybe more than one version of that base car. This shout out to Benzinga, by the way. If you guys want a discount on Benzinga, go down to the description and get that. The report further suggesting that the upcoming architecture, internally referred to as NV9X, is set to include 2 or more models. So it might be different variants of this, but yeah, no, they won't be able to make this thing fast enough, I think, to
2025
satisfy, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it'll be appealing when it comes out here, but I think right now we've got to deal with the fact that the EVs have been tough to, you know, they've been in the penalty box, and you got to get out of the penalty box first, regardless of what happens tonight. Because look, earnings, you know, Tesla's going to make some kind of like a $10 spike or something in the aftermarket. We can't worry about that today. What you got to look at is, okay, well, what do we know about where it's trading right now? And that's been 212 the last couple of days, 212 in the air. You got up to like 17. It was a great long and then immediately reversed. Then yesterday's trade, it holds, gets above 212, holds it at the open, another big move into 15, and instantly rejected, and it goes right back down into those lows. So if it does exactly the same thing again, maybe be prepared for it. So the longs, to me, it's if it's over 212 and holds that in the first 10, 15 minutes, shows buyers above. It's tested underneath each time and then ripped. If it does the same thing, there's a scalp trade, to me, at least like the 15, 14 and a half, 15 level. And then above those teens, it's been resistance. So why not look for a bit of a turn? Like, that's just, like, look what it's happened. Like, and this is not just Tesla. Like, I could pull up a Rivian chart and you're going to see, like, the same thing. Like, it's grip and rip right into the same high, and then they just sell off for the rest of the day. At least Rivian's been making higher lows going into it. Like, if you're not thinking Rivian, if it pops into that range and fades again, well, I mean, it just rejected the same level 2 days in a row. Tesla, I like them. I think you got to be patient. I like the 170 level if it gets anywhere near. I'm not saying we get there on earnings, but that's been a big level in terms of a trend. So if it gets down anywhere close to that number, I'll probably be on the bid there tomorrow.
Do you think higher or lower tomorrow for Tesla?
I actually think it's probably going to go higher, but that doesn't mean I think the trend reverses. Like, I think it's very possible that because everyone's been so sour on it, the rally it's like a relief rally up. But I don't know that that necessarily means a turn in the overall trend. Like, maybe that sounds pessimistic, but I'm not thinking they're out of the penalty box, even if with strong numbers tonight.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I think it's higher. I think it's much higher. Okay, so right here, I wrote down on the sticky note again. We're not gonna. I'll just hit this little thing because I love it. Thank you, Fabian, for that. And now we've got the branded sticky notes as well. So those came in finally. We ran out of them. There it is. You can trying to get out with. There it is. All right. 210 on here. We talked about that. I love the catalyst of this cheaper model. This is exactly what we want. If this was any other week, basically, other than earnings week for Tesla, I think this would be a monstrous opportunity here for the stock to really rally throughout the day. Like, I would be here. I'd be like, we're going to take out 216. I think it would already be above this 216 if it was an earnings day. So people, like Neil mentioned, people are really nervous about this stock, and for good reason. I mean, it hasn't been. You've been really. And again, you know, we talked about this. I know you guys had JC on. We had JC on the recap show. And he's like, if you hate tech, basically you're an idiot. And I feel like an idiot if you have your money into anything else other than like those Mag 7 names, except for this. Like, Tesla's the one that's really gotten hit. You know, like, why put money into Rivian when you can just put into Amazon, right? Or why put money into Tesla when you just put into Google? So there's always going to be that until they show up again. So I just wonder if it's been beat down here. We haven't heard that much from Elon. The Cybertruck kind of came and went. Like, that was a lot of hoopla there. I don't think that's going to turn the needle at all, obviously. The Cybertruck is too brand new. But this new model, to me, is really a catalyst, man. And I want to get long this. I obviously am very, very biased to trying to get long Tesla. I know there's a lot of people short. I just bought some at 209. I talked about that. You know, honestly, open disclosure, I try to tell you guys all the things I do. And so I'm a bull on it, so you got to take that into consideration. I wrote down 210, so I do think a little bit of a dip buy opportunity here for Tesla. And you saw yesterday, look at this, like just an absolute rocket ship, up $6 off open. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that today, and I also wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of a move back into this 206 to 208, 210 area here off open as well. I know it's just kind of like going back and forth, but I'm not buying anything until 210. So if Tesla really rips, this is going to be a spot here, 213, that I'm going to regret not taking. So let's wait to see about 213 here on Tesla. I just don't want to have it in the first couple minutes. So I'm excited about it, but the day here is already such a long that I feel Tesla buying this top is dangerous.
Crypto, worth a note here this morning. We had quite the sell-off coming on the back of this ETF debut for all of these. I was just looking at, I can bring up Bitcoin here. It's not really doing much. We did get back above 40,000 briefly. We are back below currently for Bitcoin, but just kind of hanging out. Bottom end of the range around this 40,000 level. Coin to the upside this morning to the tune of about 3% along with a few others.
Yeah, that break of 39,000 yesterday on BTC brought us into 7-week lows. So we'll have to wait and see how we rebound today. Above 40,000 now, coin and some of the mining names up over 3%, Brendo. But yeah, interesting here. Sell the news type of event after the ETF.
Yeah, just seeing Kathy Wood making some comments to the tune of Bitcoin is the world's most secure asset, according to Miss Wood.
All right, Kathy.
Okay.
I mean,
if you think it's going to 100, I mean.
No, I mean, I don't have a problem with that statement. I don't know. If it's a secure asset, that's great. I mean, I don't hear too many hacks anymore, that's for sure, if she's talking about the blockchain. I mean, we just heard the other day Microsoft's emails got hacked. You know,
Man, they got ripped into.
You know, so I don't really, and obviously Microsoft just dusts it off. But the thing is like, here's iBit. This is, hold on a second before I tell about, it's not BlackRock, is it? It's, iShares, duh. Okay, so here's their daily chart. You know, here's, forget about this. That's pre everything. So right there, you know, $27 day of reckoning, I guess. And then down to the downside right here, making that bottom yesterday at 22 and now bouncing a little bit higher. So we're going to have to watch to see what happens here with crypto. In general, I feel like we've already called the demise of Coinbase, and that was really well done to the downside. But now it seems to want to get a base here at 120 as well. Crypto, I'm going to always have it on the bottom here for you. So 30. Let's call it 40.39.8 right now. We were bouncing around that 40,000. I think on a break, you can get a lot higher. Coinbase has definitely gotten kicked down the road. I called 130 as possibly being an area where we'd get to. We're there right now. 120 seems to want to hold. I like Coinbase here, especially if we can stay above 40,000. Now you're at 39.8. So I would say play the dips and then watch out for this like 125 long right into here for Coinbase is what I like today. But I could see it dipping, especially with the movement right now in crypto. It was just over 40. We just had a nice little $200 move downside.
Yeah, I mean, if we're not getting back above the 38 level that held, kind of is where you expect things to settle down on a daily chart of Coinbase, or on Bitcoin. So if we get and hold above the 40,000 level, I kind of like Mara to go, maybe. Like, this is an interesting, like, it made the 15 bottom. It's been going sideways. So the next step would be to break it out past like 17.25. But if you're not above 40,000, I don't think you got the juice for this. There was like a delisted miner that was supposed to be coming back to market, Core Scientific. Core Scientific was a miner that went to the OTC and is supposed to be coming back to the NASDAQ either today or tomorrow. if 40, it's the kind of thing where, okay, well, you're coming up from the OTC, you're not going to have a gigantic float. It was like a dollar stock when I was on the OTC. It's not in our system, but if that does come to market in the next 2 days and we hold 40,000, I could see that kind of thing being a bit of a runner. In lieu of that, I think Mara, if it can crack this 17 quarter and we're above 40,000, does look spicy. I want to thank Mr. Westermeyer here for the super chat, but I got to ask you a question, clarification here. Neil and Sean, what about buying 10K for a swing play? If it tanks, buy 10K more at bottoms and move to long term. Could you go wrong? Well, I don't know what we're buying. I'm assuming we're talking about Tesla, so you're talking about buying 10,000. I'm assuming you were talking about Tesla. So 10K in Tesla. We'll see what you say. But you can always, Tesla, that's what I figured, that's what we were talking about. But you can always go wrong doing something. Because, like, to me, if I'm buying for the long term, I'm buying for the long term. Like, that's the first thing I look at. But if you're saying you're just going to wait for the bottom tomorrow, the bottom next week, the bottom a month from now, what's going to define that bottom for you? That's fair. Like, I have a trend line bottom here, which is not even at 170 anymore on Tesla. It's actually underneath 170. It looks like 165. I think if it breaks that trend line, it's in some serious trouble. So it's at 210 right now. Is that the bottom? Is 200 the bottom? I think I'd need to define something. If I'm making a trade and I can't say where the out actually is, it's just some theoretical out, then to me, I'm not making a trade. But I am looking to be a buyer of Tesla this quarter. I'm just observing the trend to the downside and thinking I can be pretty patient about it. I also bought in the 20. I bought like 220, but I'm not looking to go long again until after earnings, and I'm be perfectly happy to go long in front of the 170 if this trend holds.
Rundown once again this week brought to you by our friends over at TradeLog. It is tax season once again. TradeLog empowers traders with tools and education to take control of your taxes. Learn how you can get started for free and save 20% on your subscription. Go to tradelog.com/TraderTV. That QR code, bottom right-hand corner right now, will save you 20% as well. It's one of those things you've got to do every year, so you might as well save 20% on it. Why not?
I'd rather pay them a little bit than pay more money to Uncle Sam.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Agreed. Let's talk China here. Back to the upside this morning. I put on the board there, still weak, because if you zoom out a little bit, they are still definitely weak. We talked about that stimulus. Yeah, it's Tesla. We talked about that, which is, I guess, has a big presence in China, so valid. Stimulus coming from the Chinese government once again to help prop up their market. I mean, they had the worst day in 2 years on Chinese stock markets going back to Monday this week. So worth a bounce here, possibly.
Yeah, possibly. They're all green right now. Yesterday, they announced that they were going to take some money and buy some of their own capital market stocks, equities, whatever. Today, it's a different form of stimulus. Today, they're pledging to reduce the amount of liquidity that the banks are required to hold as reserves. As such, it's going to basically, add about 1 trillion yuan into the economy. That's about $140 billion, Brendo. That is from the reserve side. They're also going to try to prop up the fledgling real estate market by giving some short-term loans to some of these property development companies. We'll have to see how it does.
One of the strongest, once again, PDD guys, just taking out the highs here. 145 for Pinduoduo.
PDD's a rocket ship, that stock.
PDD.
And it's, like I was waiting for a breakdown on that stock at 136 one morning, and it went to 136.00 and then rallied like $4 or $5. So I guess that's a stock. I should have been looking at key levels to play the trend to the long side. The trend is your friend. Yeah. Alibaba yesterday, it was a gentle trend to the upside. It wasn't the explosive move on Baba was the gap up. The trade, Baba was really just like a dollar range most of the day, and then the late afternoon trade, very slowly the same thing, 73 to 74. The high yesterday was at 74.50. It peaked at 74.50 and then turned around and it closed at $74. So looking for the dip buy, to me it starts resistance turning into support. I like the fact that Alibaba has broken out of that bottom channel at 70. Today is where it tries to hold above the 50-period moving average on the daily chart, which also is right in that 74.5 range. It's like 74.75. So it closed above there, looks really good. Then maybe you can get up into the 80s, which a lot of people have been waiting a long time for. So yeah, the dip buy, got to be patient. When Alibaba falls at the open, if it's going to dip and rip, sometimes it can be a little bit violent. We've seen that before. Like go back to, this is like the 11th, I think, where at the open it dipped from 73 to 71.5 and made a double bottom and came right back up to the top. So, this is today this one's on the note. It was in the long yesterday and it only really went, it was like 50-cent scalp trades at a time. I think if it goes dip and rip, you're able to do better than that. So that starts at yesterday's high for me.
All right, guys, it's Alibaba at 74 longs. We'll be on it. We love Alibaba to the long side here with China strength. So there it is right there on the sticky note. It's Alibaba. It's long. Go find it at Trader TV, Sean. That's really all you need to know. We'll be sitting here trading them. You can take our trades. You can watch us trade. That's the best thing about this show. You can judge us based on our trades. If we win, those are good trades. If they're bad, then they're bad trades. Easy stuff. We're going to go long on Alibaba here today at some point. Watch us trade, and we will have some fun. It's 9:29:40. Right now, we'll have some fun, but the idea is to make some money. There's Adara right there. She's going to ring that bell in just under 10 seconds. I have bids on AMD, BABA, Disney, Plug. We're trying to go to the short side. Tesla longs, a firm short. 5 seconds left, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Here we go.
Oh no! Don't start with that "here we go" stuff again. Once I hear it once, it's stuck there. So
contractually obligated.
Okay, well here we go then. The market is now open. Alibaba's not open yet. Let's just have a quick look on what Tesla's doing quickly. Okay, there's that dip down in. We are waiting at 210.25. It goes to 211 flat and then says thank you, and we'll move on of that one right now. As there it goes, nice little upside move happening on Tesla. But here it comes back into 211.
Oh, AMD's already flying.
AMD's already flying, yeah. So that was one of those things there that we missed that 170. We're still on the bid, man. I don't want to act like we've missed it. Yeah, you got to wait.
Well, that's the thing. You're less than a minute into the market here, and sometimes you don't get the first action that you're looking for. Yeah. You just got to be patient with it. We've been down that road before. Alibaba's, look, it's obviously not dipping that far. It actually held that 75 level. Even Intel, which had that negative rating on it, like that's actually moving in here. So it's down into that 49. It's just wicked the bottom here at previous close. So let's let it settle down, retest. I want buyers above 49 because that previous close sits at 48.89. Remember, there was an analyst initiation that was like neutral that caused the move to the downside. They report tomorrow night.
Okay, I'm still not in anything here. Disney is doing a nice move to the upside, so we really, really like Disney coming up. Watch it for breaking 95, but I don't even think it's open yet. So a lot of these stocks not open yet on the New York Stock Exchange. So wake up, NYSE. There you go. Alibaba's open. That's dancing around here just at that day's high right now of 75.70. Look at the market, though, making this move down, probably giving us opportunities to buy something. So we got to go over there and have a quick look to see if there's anything we can buy on this dip down. We wanted AMD long. If that came into 170, it looks like that's trying to make that move as well. So that could be something that we pick up down here.
SoFi is getting close to that support.
SoFi, yeah, a lot of stocks coming in. Go ahead. Yeah.
I am into Intel, risking 15 pennies to that yesterday's close. And I did mention this in the aftermarket show, and I think I said this in our pre-market show, that 770 level on SoFi the last couple of days. Like, it can break down 770, be a flat bottom break, but first it actually has to get there and break it. So I am on the bid looking for a bit of a dip buy. AMD starting to come in. If Intel comes, then I expect AMD to come in. AMD was top of the list. Intel got to the level first, but I like AMD better off that 170 level. Baba's underneath 75. There's a chance. Come on, Alibaba, get down there. It's not going. Netflix, inside day so far. I said we probably wouldn't trade Netflix. I feel like that's certainly holding true. Let's go to Adara at the desk.
Really nice pop for Get Around right off the open here. This is penny stock, GETR, last night saying that it secured $20 million in financing after its Q3 results reported in December. Really good look for GETR, over 100% to the upside.
All right, we don't have very many shares, but we are into Tesla at this 210. We talked about that, so we're at 210.25. It's out of the money a quarter right now. We'll get something out at 211 if it continues to go upside, but then I just said that the position that I really kind of thought I liked here. Okay, here we go. One for one. All right, so we'll wait. We'll wait now. We're taking out only a third, man. We're going to wait for much higher now on Tesla, see if we can get there. I was just put an order in at 208 in case it gets down there. That is going to be Tesla. Of course, Alibaba is making a move in. We got to double check our thought here because this is a
now it's starting to come down.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's no buyers
pretty
yet.
Dramatic move here for Baba. So let's just wait until we hit some key levels here. And I'm waiting for 74. So if 74 comes in, we'll get that fill on Alibaba.
Yeah, you need to see buyers step in. I'll quickly show you like my plan on Intel. I'd rather take 2 or 3 shots at it than try to fight the trend. So it showed buyers above 49 here. So I get in the long, and then when it takes out the local bottom, get out. If they show up again, then I'll take a second shot. It's the same thing with BABA. The only difference with Alibaba is that it hasn't really showed any buying in front. It's actually starting to do so now. So when you're buying the dips, I prefer to take a couple of cracks at it. I'm going to get to that getter in a second. Not getter, but get R. I know there's like getter's an actual thing. But that looks like a very good penny stock. I was in it really early in the pre-market and then got out. But that looks like a decent sized runner here today. There is some movement happening in Rumble as well.
Right, yeah, Rumble's one of those names that keeps on going to the upside right there. So
Held 6.
Held 6. Okay, we do have a new position again, and it's going to be Plug Power. So we'll wait to see, man. We talked about this short. We broke this one down for you. We liked it. Let's see if Plug Power has anything interesting to talk about here today. We're short, so hopefully there's something to do. With Plug, we'll wait. We're going to get short into $4. We talked about that. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with it. Would like to see it work a little bit better, obviously, here. But there it is. It's a nice move. Well, it's a nice move up right now. We're waiting to get more. My next offer is at 95 right now. So that'll be something that we'll look at here for Plug Power, getting a little bit more in if it does get up to 95. And then, I told you, judge us on our trades. If you're a Dollar Club member, you get it in right there. We have that position. We missed that Alibaba. That was a good take there for sure. But there's Tesla, now $1 in the money, and now $1.50 in the money, and now still going higher and higher and higher. And oh yeah, Tesla 210, as it was written right there. I hope some of you had that. We do, and it's starting to go up to the upside there. It just touched, though, 211.75. Probably something to consider getting out if we do that again. Take the $1.50 and run, and we'll deal with it after. But nice move upside there for Tesla so far.
Oh my goodness, that getter. Should have just bought that dip just now. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I was saying you got to get over to getter. It broke that high at 42, came back in, dipped right into that 42 level. You're seeing it continue to go. I think this one can be absolutely a flyer. I'll get to the daily chart here quickly for you guys. If you like it, you might already be in this one. It makes some sense, but there's room till 65 to 70 cents. There's plenty of room for it to still go before it runs into major resistance. Alibaba was okay, but it wasn't a scalp trade for me. Like, I was looking at that 750 level. That was my line in the sand. It bounced, showed me the long, but then it goes out. So I can start over 2, but try to keep them tight. Whatever your win is, try to make sure that your losses are reasonable, because Alibaba's going in the other direction if you're looking for that dip buy. But Getter looking like an absolutely fantastic long. My thoughts on Tesla were the last 2 days, 212 was where the strength was. I want to see buyers above that 212 level. They haven't really emerged just yet. And we can talk about DWAC, but it's selling off right now.
Oh, boo.
So if you're looking for the long, you're probably not going to find it. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
ASML still one to watch, making new 52-week highs. This causing some of the other chip names to run as well. ASML did report pretty nice EPS and sales beats. So ASML, all these chip names definitely still on watch, guys.
I keep saying you can't own every single chip stock, but ASML I like. It's just that I own a lot of chip stocks. Not AMD today. AMD got within 20 cents, so it got to 170.50. 55. The one you want is the one that you might not get sometimes. It's a little bit frustrating there, but I think AMD off that 170 still looks pretty good. SoFi, I really thought we were going to get that imminently. Oh, look at the bounce on SoFi. Right off those lows. I missed it by 4 cents. It's one of those mornings. But remember, I'll have to fail myself for not getting the SoFi dip buy. But in the afternoon show, it was you guys yelling and asking about SoFi that identified that triple bottom the last couple of days.
Oh man, we're still only in the same positions. You mentioned that AMD. Where was I bidding, man? I was bidding 170.05, so I was even close to that. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there, I feel like, but again, trying to be specific in what we're doing. I don't feel like I missed it too much, but definitely an opportunity there could have been had on AMD. So missed there for sure, but that's okay. We'll live to see another day. This Plug Power might not live to see too many more days. If this fails out through here, we're waiting for 95s. we sort of talked about this play here. I do like it, but we got to wait for it a little bit. It's just kind of moving around. And the reason why I put this on the sticky note late edition, and we just kind of looked at it with you guys all here, and that is that felt like we were bumping up against this 50 period again, gave us an opportunity. We saw it fail, 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 and then they had that, you even here on the show, we were like, what, say what? They were doing a share offering and it went back up to the upside.
Yeah.
So that was a little strange
other
for
way.
sure there. So we'll just continue to look at some of these names that we wanted to look at, and then we'll just worry about it if it breaks higher. We already sort of have the plan of action. That's the best part. Disney does take 95. We weren't waiting for that. We were waiting for dip buy. So we still have to wait then because it's not doing anything. Disney right now kind of just stuck where it needs to be. Netflix would be the next one to look at, and there it goes, man. We said that there would be a one trade, in my opinion, on both sides. Either you take the long on this break of 546, and that happened, and now if you do that, you're in the money $7. That's not that hard of a trade if you believed in it, but I don't really trade earnings. But that was a great play, and then there's that baseline again at 537. I'm pretty sure if we rewind, those were the two levels that we talked about, but like I said, man, it doesn't really matter. There it is right there. Like I said, let's go based on what we're doing. There's Tesla. We said that. Plug might be an L. Tesla's a dub. We'll see what happens right now moving forward, but there is a nice one. 210 long on Tesla. Remember I told you I was very, very bullish about Tesla, and therefore I didn't want my opinion to be like, overly clouded there, but I'm glad that we had that. And as we mentioned there, it's a $2 winner for anybody that's a member there and wound up taking it. And of course, the membership is completely free. And there it is right now. It's a cash register, baby. We're on one again. That's it, man. Welcome to the show. I'm at Trader TV Sean.
What up, buddy? I love that Tesla play. It's holding a bit above the 212.
Yeah,
that's key for me because 2 days in a row that's been a winning long that's failed at 15s and 17s to the upside. I am in Getter now. You know what? It's
Get
GT.
it.
It's Get Around. Getter's an actual thing, so it's Get Around. They're like some automotive ride sharing something.
That's actually a good name.
I know it's a good one, but
Get 'em.
people might get that twisted with something else. Watch out for this market. The market's actually headed the other direction. I just saw Micron. Micron fell $2 at the open here. So not all the chip names are good. The best trade for me today is if you're wrong, accept it.
Yeah.
Look at Intel. Like Intel, there was a downgrade. I didn't have to trade it after the analyst. It was more of initiation that was negative. So I could have changed the tone and not gone for long off that level, but at least we get out. It broke that previous close, and you could hold it another 1.5% against you if you want, but that's not going to be my cup of tea. I do see what's going on over in some other big chip names that we did not talk about, but one of those was in Meta, failed break of 390. So 390 was a triple top on Meta. It just failed to break out at that price. Usually I'm looking for reversals when you have that kind of a break and the market is looking a little bit heavy. Sometimes things set up that weren't in your plan. I wasn't thinking short Meta, but that's a pretty decent fail break. If it gets up there again, I'd look fade 390 on Meta. Let's go to the desk. We have Adara.
Not seeing any news in this one right now, but Upstart really strong, up almost 8%. Really good volume here. Nice push to the upside. Keep an eye on UPST.
Okay, when I hear Upstart, I think about Affirm. So we'll go over to Affirm quickly, and it's not doing anything. So yeah, I shouldn't have thought about it too strong there because Affirm we're pretty flat right now. I have an offer at 44.50. I wrote down on the sticky note that I'd want to wait for a monster move on Affirm before we did anything. We've been sort of talking about that. So honestly, that's just what we're going to do. We're just going to have to wait for it and see if we can get something upside on Affirm. But we can look at Upstart. Why not? Here's Upstart right here, 38. Good level there. Wow. Okay. So right now, that wick high from just the other day is right here at $38. We're going to have to do a little bit more work on Upstart, but thanks to Dara for that one. As we can see, it's really starting to go upside for Upstart. So just be careful there. Shorting it, again, I kind of missed what that news was on it, but it is really starting to go, and I'm going to wait for Affirm to pop and then short that instead.
Yeah, but Affirm's not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm a little surprised by that. I said Rumble was moving. It had held on to the $6 level. Well, it's just done it a little bit more convincingly now. So the dip in the afternoon, if you remember, was right into 610. It just held to 6, looking to go higher. Once I see it, trend to me, start making higher low. So it's made one bottom. You make a higher low, and you can get going to set upside. Things are starting to calm back down on Alibaba, holding 74.5. That's looking a little bit better for a second shot at it. And Meta is climbing back toward that 390 level. So if fail broke it once, if it makes a lower high, then I look short to the local top. So that's the idea for the setup. It's against the grain in the recent local move, but when you fail a level like that, that's a triple top. I'm generally looking for the short. Getter's at 46.5, so nothing too crazy yet happening on Getter until that breaks like 30s, like 48s. We get excited if that can break 48s. If I'm in, it's probably a scalp trade. Yeah, Meta does not hold underneath that 390. We'll take the shot. It continues to go upside. Like I said for Getter, until it gets to 48, I'm not generally going to be that excited about it. You can go scalp trading on Meta or like Intel or whatnot, but every cent I'll take something out. But the real move, I think, is when this breaks out above 50. 50 is like a dollar, 50 is a huge psychological level on a stock. And when a stock breaks that 50 level for good, I'm looking for places to add on the way to 55 to 58, and then up to that 68 level that we talked about. So I think it's got a lot more room to go. Just got to give it some time. I know a firm's starting to move, but
If I could blast.
not that much. I'm mad about SoFi. I missed it by 4 cents on a $7 stock. Let's go back to Adara.
Some numbers coming in here. S&P Global Composite PMI flash coming in 52.3, so 2 higher than the forecast of 50.3. S&P Global Manufacturing PMI flash coming in 50.3 versus the forecast of 47.2. Last but not least, Global Services PMI flash coming in 52.9 versus the forecast of 51, so all higher than expected here for these S&P Global Composite numbers.
All right. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, we did have those numbers come through right there. So thank you to Adara for all of that. We have another new position. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if these new positions are going to work out or not. We just mentioned SoFi. I know a lot of people are long SoFi. I hate to be short, but I feel like we just failed up there at 795. So we're gonna average it in. So we'll take this position now. It's a decent size, but not huge. If we can get it back into like the low 80s, we'll take a little bit of profit right there on that. It's only a $7 stock, and remember, we are day trading here. So as we look at this, you got to take that consideration that we're just getting in and out of positions. So I'm still long SoFi in my long-term account, of course. But here it comes. Let's just put a bid now in and around 83. Maybe we'll get an 83 bid, then we'll get an 80 bid, and we'll just wait to see if SoFi wants to print a little bit lower here today. If it does, great. If it doesn't, that's fine as well. All right, plug power, and again, that's why I'm not like super in love with anything here. So we'll wait. Here goes DWAC just flushed. Okay.
Give me.
Plug power's 410. Like I said, we don't have a whole bunch of positions, shares. We're gonna get it to 410. Okay, Neil, you're on DWAC?
No, funds. Oh, it's
fun. Okay, my bad.
Funds SSR, you can't punch short.
That stock can be fun, cannot be fun, but
yeah, you can't. So DWAC just did this. I said if I saw DWAC like reject a big level, I'd take a shot at Funware to the other side. It's a little bit more of a stable stock. It's a penny stock, right? But it's SSR, short sell restricted. So when that happened, and I was attempting to hit the bid as it was breaking 39, you can't hit the bid because it's down 11%. I believe it was.
Randy.
Yeah, it is what it is. So I'm short this now at 38 instead of 39. So I had to take less size to be able to give it to 40. So the 40 is my out here on Funware. 40 is my out here on what the hell was I talking on Funware? But I want to add to this at 39. But you can only get short by sitting on the offer and waiting for an uptick. That's what I'm trying to get at here. But DWAC with a bit of a move to the downside. I think maybe Sean needs a coffee.
Yeah, I saw Randy there, so I was trying to get his attention there, but that was just funny. I'm glad Ramin.
The international sign
but that's more like shots.
Well, I was going to say, you don't shoot a hot coffee like that, otherwise you might be in.
And we did pretty much drink the whole thing, so there you go. Thank you. Professor, we got this, okay? Your show's coming up, bro. You don't worry about that.
Netflix, too.
Professor just wanted to get our attention
AMD.
about Netflix, but I want to get everyone's attention about another dub right here, and that is SoFi. SoFi making the move back into 83. 83s, here we go. We'll get some more shares out, or did we already? Yeah, okay, there we go. We get some more shares out there at 83, of course. There it is. It's a nice move there for SoFi. We still have a little bit of Tesla. Tesla goes to something in the money, then all of a sudden, now it's crank City back down for Tesla. But for me, that's all good as, wow, plug, okay. We are giving it to 410. So that means that we're short 87, 20 cents. Man, we need this thing to get back into the 80s here before we do anything with Plug Power. But we were wrong on it. So yeah, it might be worth thinking about at least taking a little bit of profit out of Plug Power if it does come back, because we are looking said gift horse, Neil, in the mouth. What's up with AMD?
It's just continuing to go. So I'm going to cancel this bid in here. Oh, the last couple of days, like the early morning trades have been, you know, like the off the open, you almost can't go wrong, but you actually have to get in. That's sort of the issue with AMD.
That's the rub.
Like there hasn't been, like my setup is you get the dip buy or you try the higher low. Well, there hasn't been one. I think maybe a pullback now would get you back into the breakout price. We've got to be a little bit patient with this. I do not want to be chasing that too hard. Like not everything is going straight to the upside, but you got a couple of chip names which are flying around. You saw AMD, NVIDIA is back through 605 here. It's got room to 610. Shout out to everyone that was talking about that in the aftermarket show. When I see Tesla making that move, my first thought is like, what can I do about Nikola? I was looking for what the news was. Too late, and you have to pay for locates on that one. And then there's always Rivian. I said Rivian, we liked it. Hit enter twice. For a pop and fade on Rivian, like give me a break. It just hit like 2 days in a row it goes to this level. So my genius thinking is, well, we'll get short when it gets up to 1680 because look at the double top.
Whoop, whoop.
Rivian says we're not going to go up at all. We're just going to crack 16 to the downside. So unfortunately, you know, that's just headed lower. Fun is holding. You got to watch out for DWAC here. I have every penny I've got a bid, but I want to hold down to about 33, 32. And until I see DWAC make a strong move up, I got to think about holding on to it. If Getter gives up that 40 level, we'll have to get, as I said, I don't think of that Getter as a normal penny stock. Like, the excitement is if it gets above that 50 cent level.
All right, guys.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go. No, no. Okay. Tesla 1 for 1. SoFi 2 for 2. Plug Power. Let's go. We're 3 for 3 today, baby. So it's been a good day here so far. As we're ready to rock and roll, thank you, Randy. Oh, we got a big one today. That's what we're talking about. Look at Plug Power. Just came back in, thankfully, for that. SoFi, honestly, guys, there it is, man. We just got a 78. It's down to 78. We got an 80 fill. So that is really, really starting to make some moves back into the downside. So there it is, man. 3 for 3. And couldn't do too much better today. Really happy with today's performance in the market so far. What's up, A?
Massive push with volume here for SciSpark, SPRC. This one has run before, today running because it's revealed a $20 million standby equity purchase agreement. So definitely keep an eye out for SPRC. Looks like it's getting another burst to the upside, guys.
AMD now just broke the 175. Forget about dipping at all. It's just absolutely ram shot to the upside. Same thing with NVIDIA. I gotta holler at ARM for a second here. So still the same pocket in both Getter and Fun, but ARM, like look at the divergence between some of these chip names. ARM is down 1.5%. Micron's down 2%. Intel got flushed. There was an analyst change on them, but AMD and NVIDIA are absolutely flying. I still want to take a shot at AMD. It's just a matter of this calming down a little bit and giving you a setup for an entry point. I'm not buying tops on the stock. It's just not going to happen. One more thing. We did mention, I said I didn't get my short on Rivian. That doesn't mean I won't look short. If it bounces off the yesterday's low, I want to short it right where the afternoon resistance was. So back up into the 1610 range. When in doubt, the trend is your friend. And if the trend is down, then I want to short the first available pop. Always try to go with that trend, and don't, if you miss the first short, just look for the second one. That's worked. It worked yesterday. Didn't have the first short on Rivian, had the second short. So I'll look for the same thing again here today.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, yeah, I was just trying to look here as well. And then looking at Plug Power, because Plug Power is making the dance right now back in. So let's see if Plug has anything to say. We just got some 78s out right there. It's a little bit more excited than I thought we'd get on Plug, but so far so good here. We'll see where we can go. So Plug Power making the move back in. We just did cover some back. Our best cover 78 there. We actually punched out multiple times at that 78 level. So that turned out to be a decent cover right there. And again, you know, I like SoFi, but you know, we like a little bit of this as well. So there it is on SoFi, man. Well traded there. I feel like we waited for the pop up and we took it, and the rest is history. Now SoFi downside there. We kind of like that trade, so we'll wait to see if it can work out a little bit better for us. Plug downside Tesla. Now we're just going to wait for it. I mean, if it comes to 208, it gets there, and we'll be happy with it. Other than that, we just kind of, you know, sit in this trade. I don't want to go over here and be jumping. We're already, like I said, man, we're going to go 3 for 3 here, so we're pretty happy with it. We knew that AMD was going to be a ripper today. It's the #1 name on here, but as we discussed, it's very hard to buy tops when the market is really, like when I think we're overheated. It's not even that the market was up 1%. I mean,
No, but right now it's not doing.
oh yeah, right now. Oh yeah, well right now buying AMD up here is insane. But we don't have to. We've already sort of, we've sort of done well already this morning. But I feel like there is going to be a top at some point. You wait for that sort of volume spike to indicate maybe a turnaround here in AMD. But that's quite the move up on a small little upgrade in my opinion.
It's like it's almost as if money came out of. I'm just speculating. The money that came out of Intel, Micron, and ARM this morning, it's like it just flew right into AMD and NVIDIA. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's not. But I'm not buying. Like I said, I'm not buying those tops. Just because you missed it doesn't mean you have to fight it. And someone was asking, do I still like the long at the bottom on SoFi? I like that first bounce long. If we're going grip and rip, I missed it by 4 cents. But then it reversed back into the bottom. It's still a flat bottom break at 770 on the stock, so I want to respect that. DWAC and Funware continue to fade off here. We're up pretty much at the low of the day as we speak on Funware. And DWAC, which is my futures for it, that's at that 42 level. If 42 goes, I think you see 40 on DWAC. And if that happens, then I think Funware is an easy move back down into 32 to 34.
Guys, we just took 50 cents. That's why we hit that explanation mark there or whatever. As AMD, now it's coming back. It just fell down, man. We got out. Now, wow, we are really starting to go, man. We got to watch out for this crack stock. We just reloaded that one, man. Now we got a lot of money on board here on that reload on AMD. We're short 175.80 right now on that name. And I was like, oh, man, this thing's not coming back up, but it did. So let's go. Let's go, AMD. You got to get out of this, man. This is a scalp nation. Shout out to everybody out there that's with me. Let's go. If you want to have diamond hands, you sure as hell can. But right now, I will be getting out of this one, and we are doing that as we're just sort of stack. We're going to go 4 for 4, maybe 5 for 5 here. Probably my next one. It's a big morning, and there it is right now. Let's go. Spin it. If you're rocking, you're rocking, and it's been a rocking kind of a day. Again, thank you for joining us here, and that just continues to go down. And by the way, Plug Power on the sticky note. Let's go. There it is. Plug Power with a 26-cent winner on a $3.50 name. That ain't too shabby. It's Plug Power right now going to the downside. We don't have small winners, man. We got some big ones here today for you. So let's just continue on that one, man. 15 cents for SoFi, 30 cents for Plug Power, and AMD. Woo, we got out of that one. We still have about 30%. So we're going to use 176.50, the high of the day, as our out for AMD.
Yeah, AMD is starting to pull back here. So like 70 cents off that high. VWAP sits at 174 on AMD. So when you're looking for a VWAP dip, like that's so far away. Getter is starting to go back to the upside. It's floating higher. Try to get VWAP. Try to get here. Again, until it breaks out that 50, I don't know how exciting that one is going to be just yet. Would you try to long ARM, Elon? 75 is a good level on ARM. But remember what's been happening in these chip names. You have strength from one into the other. So on the dip buys, be patient, because this, Micron and Intel have been stupid weak. So I want to be very patient with it. I'd rather be joining trends where I can. Speaking of which, you can't short pops that don't exist. You have to cancel this order on Rivian. Rivian is now at 1570 and still falling. This is falling like an absolute rock, and it's getting out of hand. I actually look at this one and say there's got to be another name which is giving me an opportunity for the south side of the trade. And the first place I went to was the one that worked yesterday, and it's going to be Fisker. So for lack of a better entry into an EV to the short side, Fisker is giving me a shot to risk 2 or 3 cents and jump into this play to the downside, because the EVs are looking weak, and this is still underneath a flat bottom.
All right, I'm just adjusting my sticky note here because look, I mean, we put this out for you. I'm going to discard this so I can show it to you. I'm just really proud. I'm just really proud to be giving some of these ideas to everybody. We get such great feedback from everybody here about how we trade. Like you can't. It's not easy to go 4 for 4, and we won't do that every day. But we put this note out at 8:58 when we discuss Plug Live on the show. Please make sure to join us every day at 8:30. You know, short, 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 short. So there it is again. And then so that was the play that we gave, and it is now cash like crazy down to the downside there for Plug Power. As you can see, pretty easy. There it is. Look at this. All the way at the bottom down to the 200 period right now for Plug Power, and your boys got shares. Like this is something that we could all do, right? So yeah, I see, trust me, everybody yelling at me for AMD. We already have the plan of action here, guys. If AMD takes down 176.50, we're gone. I also do have a bid rate here right now, and boom goes the dynamite. Ooh, this dynamite is nice today, guys. As there we go again for AMD. We are right now much higher than we were yesterday, and we're stone cold chilling right now. The Rock gets a seat on TKO. Maybe the People's Trader should get a seat on the TKO's board as well. Let's go, man. It is sirens up. What a day this has been here for Trader TV Live. The fun is just started right now. Disney long, BABA, 2 new positions long, and we have happening now with Adara Killam.
Nice move to the upside here for the SPY. Nice gap up. We're up about 0.5% more or less here on the day. Semiconductors on watch yet again after those ASML earnings, and Tesla earnings on watch for aftermarket close tonight. So lots going on with the market this week as earnings seasons really heats up. Boeing on watch yet again today, down about 0.7% on the day. Another FAA-related investigation here as a wheel falls off of a Delta Boeing 757, so keep an eye on BA. PDD, one of the Chinese ADRs, still up on the day, falling down a little bit here, but still up about 2% on news from that. China's central bank governor saying that they are going to look to stimulate the stock market and the economy there in China, so these Chinese ADRs definitely still on watch. Last but not least, Netflix up about 14%. Massive earnings beat, really strong here on NFLX, guys.
So you might remember in the afternoon show, someone was asking about GameStop, and we talked about this. Oh, well, if it breaks 14, we'll go short GameStop last night. It didn't break the 14 level, but it actually just broke it now. So I did sit down and yeah, if it breaks that level, we like it to the south side. I didn't think we'd get there. It was gapping up. It just broke 14 even. I got slipped to 97. Couple of pennies. It just bounced off 90. There is a local bottom here at 13.75, so a scalp trade is warranted down into that level and then see if it can break further. This, AMC, the meme stocks, for lack of a better term, had been trending to the downside. And the other day I was joking around when I said, why not just look for shorts on these stocks every single day? But one has to set up. So the flat bottom break has happened on GameStop at least. AMC did it as well at 4:30, so I suppose you could be in something like that. But I chose GME because that's the one I looked at yesterday. So we're short that 97. It's continuing to work down. I looked at Fisker when the EVs were going under and what was actually still setting up for a trade. Fisker breaking underneath that 88. So I was able to get 87s. If it breaks 90s, pretty easy out there. So I can sit in the short looking for the absolute bottom on FSLR. So that's all. I'm essentially all short into a market which seems like it's up, but it's actually trended down a bit since the open.
We're here. AMD. Just took $1 on that one on the short side of things. And by the way, Disney's trying to cook right now, up 15 cents on this play as well. We cashed out. I mean, what a day. What a day. I mean, I know I say that all the time, but today, this morning has been just everything's been working out. And when that happens, it's a day. So Alibaba goes upside, but that's kind of struggling a little bit here as well. I'm debating, you know what? All right, well, okay, we just took a 17. Oops, sorry, I'm on, meant to be on Disney there. Disney off 94. Again, Disney long 94, I mean, worked, so that was a good one here. We'll have to wait to see where it goes from now. SoFi 20, wow. Oh man, we got to get out some more SoFi down here for sure. As this is starting to print a little bit there, we'll punch out some there at midpoints and get some of those. So we'll take a little piece out there as we are really cooking here with gas on this market right now. AMD, look at that, good out there when it went to the dollar. We actually got that, Phil, 174.80. So that was a good one. Yeah. Good move. We said we'd hold this until 176.25 or whatever that was. So 50 cents worth of risk, or whatever the high was. Give that to there, and then now take a buck and change on it. So again, when it's working over, over and over again. Plug Power, we just basically based out that trade for you, and I mean that's really working out. I don't have too many more ideas right now. It's only 10:03. We will have some more. PayPal just tanked as well. You could be able to pick up something down there on PayPal with a nice move down, but I always say one trade can make your day, but what about one here with AMD, right? This one is a pretty monstrous trade. Plug Power is a pretty monstrous trade. And we have a couple of different ones. The biggest one that we're waiting for right now is going to be Tesla. So we're just going to wait to see if Tesla, we can get that 208 or not, and then we'll deal with it after that. But now all of a sudden the win on Tesla seems dwarfed compared to everything else. So, so far so good. There goes, I mean, look, we were just talking about Alibaba. There goes Alibaba as well off that level. So things working, and we're just going to continue to do the same thing.
Actually, Baba is right back off the exact same level. I said be patient with this because the front end sometimes, it was actually a good bottom at 74 if you get it on the back end of the trade, but this now seems a little better on the back end. Getter is still trying to go. Like I said, I got some out of GME. It feels like there's an easy short on some of the weaker EV names there, but I think Baba is starting to show you a bit of a low here and a bit of a bottom you can work off of. I'd like to see a higher low before jumping in, something along these lines to dig yourselves into. You mentioned PayPal.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you didn't look at Square.
No.
Block.
Ooh, if I look at Plug.
This is absolutely dying here. I like the 64 level on that one. And we talked about Disney being a bit of a flush possibility. So it was Uber being a bit of a flush possibility. And that 62 level coming into play. It got to 63 and bounced. So I think that's not going to make that move. Going to cancel any bids down there. Getter's starting to go, but you know my feelings on that. Anything I take out above 45 is scalp trades, and I want to hold the bulk of the position for a breakout of that 50. So it's held on to 42. I should have just held that pre-market trade I had on there. Didn't, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but this is up 150%. I just think the 58 level and the 68 level are in play today, and it might take all day for it to get there, but I'm patient enough to wait for it. Upstart rolled over, should have been a short somewhere in a firm. I don't know. I didn't see it today on a firm. I don't know if you did.
No, I was waiting for 45. What is it at now?
Well, the thing about 45 was yesterday's high. I'm missing some data on my chart here.
Wow,
but this double top here at 45 looked good. And when Upstart was going, it felt like he had a chance to get there. But the pop and fade on a firm is long gone. That's why I jumped to Fisker, because I wanted something short in EVs.
Holy shit.
This is now getting nasty on a firm. Maybe you see a 40 on it today.
We'll just keep going. I mean, we made these emojis for a reason, whatever these things are called. It's so we can use them. I mean, look at what's happening right now with all the stocks that we have. Like Plug Power is cratering. AMD is back into the dollar club. I don't even have any bids on this thing. Plug is cratering. SoFi is at the bottom. Like we have the top of SoFi, it's at the bottom. We almost have the top of Plug, it's at the bottom. We have pretty much the top of AMD. It's trying to get lower. Alibaba, we have the bottom of Alibaba. Tesla, we don't have we have money on, I mean, Tesla, we're not giving any of it back, man. We're doing quite well on Tesla here, but we don't have the bottom or the top. We actually have close to the top on Tesla. You don't need to make bottoms or tops. I'm just trying to let things relax down here a little bit and see if we can't find some different trading opportunities than we possibly have already had, because we're already there. AMD short, yeah, Carlos, pay again. I mean, we're short about $1 ago. We'll wait to see if it can work out for a little bit more. Let's check out on Netflix, right? I mean, this is the report. This is what I said, man. Like, I'm not playing around when I told you I probably won't even look at Netflix today. And that's why I didn't do too much work on it, other than I still feel the same thing. And I'm going to make this note for myself. First of all, always trust yourself. That's the number one thing. The second thing is play breakouts on earnings. I feel like that's going to be something there that we need to really focus on, is breakouts on earnings. So that top break of 545 on a strong play probably needs to be thought about a little more seriously.
I was never really looking at that break though.
I mentioned it there. I said there's two plays. Dip buy to 37, which actually turned out, but that was kind of lucky. And then that top break. But you know, to go back on what Neil was saying there, yeah, like I wasn't pounding the table on it. I was just saying that to me is the only trade, because other than that, you got to let it base out. So right now it's at 560. That could have given you a top. So if it comes back up, hard to blame anybody for trying to short that level. So that's kind of the stuff. Oh, here we go. AMD just made a move all the way back up, and this is what I'm talking about. This is why we got out. We're still holding 20%. So this is a hit all the way back up. So now that I'm realizing we don't have too many shares, let's get a little bit more right now. We do have the next offer at 176.25, like we mentioned, and then that high of 176.50 is where we're going to get boiled up onto the downside there. So we'll wait to see. We just averaged back into that short on AMD, and then right now we have Plug Power that we're trying to figure out here as well. Nice downside move. I'm going to punch a little bit more out at 69 on Plug.
I saw someone in the chat was like, Neil, be careful with that short. I know you guys see the position board. It's really difficult to respond sometimes while trading, but if you just let us know which symbol you're talking about, because I'm looking back and I'm like, okay, well, GameStop is still sliding to the downside. Fisker, I just put a bid down there. Fisker is still sliding to the downside. I'm assuming it's some of our DWAC fans out there talking about Funware. But again, like it's, okay, got into the short, it's stair step down, it's just holding. All three are holding in the money right now, looking for that next push to the downside. So like any short that you have on in a name like these, they can fly. These all have short interest on them. So like I have stops. I always tighten my stop. Once you get and give me that 1-to-1, I tighten my stop up pretty much every single time. If I get 1-to-1, I move my stop from say like a 40 into like a 38.5, something along those lines. So these are still working. I have my eyes on DWAC. If DWAC does something insane, then I understand what Funware is going to do. And speaking about ARMs, I was asked about ARM at 75. If you're already in it, I'm definitely happy for you. The way I usually like to do this is show me the higher low. There's your higher low off the 75 level. I like ARM now. So I'm going to take a shot at this. It's down that 1%. I understand it's a bit against the grain, but the chips are still trying to fly and the market's back at the highs. I think we found a bit of a support level at that 75 level there on ARM. So I'm there to it now. Renata saying the NEO 5-minute candle is all red. I mean, the EVs this is a little worse than I would have thought. Where is that bottom on yesterday on NEO? 615. Oh, it's already through there. Sorry, it's already through yesterday's low on NIO. I guess if it could hold here or at the $6 level, you could go for the dip buy on NIO. But there's been no strength on it. Like, where is your chance to get into a long? It hasn't shown any support yet. I think you've got to be very patient when going against the grain. That's what I was saying with ARM. And it's not one of these, because AMC and GameStop are plunging. GameStop just made a fresh low down at 1380, so that continues to head to the downside. Let's get to the desk with Adara. She's got some news for us.
You're seeing a lot of volume and lots of social media discussion for this one. ICU, C-Star, medical holding, up almost 20% on the day. This one is a penny stock. Not seeing any current catalyst on this, but lots of discussions for swings and day trades on this one on Twitter. So definitely one to keep an eye on as we continue to push the upside here, guys.
All right, we'll go props up. I mean, there it is. It is AMD. We just reloaded it, and we just took we just got out at 54s again there on AMD on the reload. We just reloaded it at Oh, we got 99s, actually. We didn't get that 05 offer. It must have ran away from us. What a surprise. So here it comes back. I mean, we're going to take it. There it is. We just got it again. So I don't know if this is, like I said, I'm just trying to scalp this out every single time. Here it goes. It's going to rip up. There it goes. Watch, 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 watch. Bye-bye, AMD, to the top of 50. That's the high of the day. Let's take something out on this pullback because we're wrong as it just continues to go higher. So we're going to get some out. Oh, yeah, this is nice. Even when we're wrong, we're not even wrong that bad. All right, so that just pulled back, saved us a little bit as we did get some out of AMD there, as it does fail at that level that we talked about, 176.50. But that just bailed us out right there on that one. We'll still have a lot. Bang, man. Yes, sir. This AMD still going to be a top stock. And there it is again. We just got another fill down low there as we are getting saved right now on advanced micro devices. But there it goes, man. Wow. Okay. There it is, man. Nice move. AMD, we could talk about the top stocks here today, but I'm pretty sure you would know that we go 1 for 1 with AMD, 2 for 2 with Alibaba. Alibaba's 40 cents in the money. We'll go, actually, here's the loss. Disney, we actually lose a Starbucks. I owe you one, Ramin. We lose a Starbucks on that. Plug Power, there it is again, another one. SoFi, another one. Tesla, another one. So we're going to go basically 5 for 5 with owing a Starbucks. So not too bad there today. It's a trophy kind of a day, and we're glad that you're with us one more time. You're now rocking with the best. It's too bad that we didn't get that 208 fill. We were waiting at 208.11 right there. Thanks again, guys, for watching. It's been a fun day.
It's always a fun day when you get to trade the markets live. Just remember, your trading style is going to matter. There's the difference between scalp trading and position holding all day long. If you're scalping something, you're in and out, you're very fast, you're not on PDT where you can make one trade. And if you're going against the grain, I think you're probably going to want to thank you very much for putting that down in there just for the scalp trading definition. You're going to want to make sure you've got your levels and be fast on the keys to get in and out, especially if a stock is going up. That's how you can take advantage of those smaller moves. I just got a 46 change print on Getter. If it's going to do this trend, we'll make a slight adjustment to scalp some out here like I was just saying. But I still want to hold on to half for the break at the 50 level. So what's holding support, that's all well and good. Alibaba said be patient with it. So I'm looking for that dip buy, and I want this in the 75 half range. So went for the dip buy a bit early. It double bottomed. That 74.5 was what I wanted to see hold. You saw the buying come in en masse. So we got the higher low this time on BABA in here in front of that 74 half level, which is my key price. So that's continuing to go to the upside. And as I said with this Getter, I want this break in that 50 level. It might go back and forth off VWAP. If it does, I'll probably take a couple of reloads, go back and forth along with it. But I want to hold on to this till it goes through that break. And it's the same thing with Funware. I've already done the scalp trade. Next break, I want 35s, and then we're just holding that one to the south side. Not everything is flying like the chip names. You've seen the EVs being absolutely punished today. Speaking of chips, I don't have to tell you about that NVIDIA trade. For anyone that got the dip buy in the chip names, all you can do is try to get the fill. Just because you like a dip buy in the stock doesn't mean the market wants to pick you up. So AMD was a miss. I'll be willing to slap a fail on it because I didn't get the bid down there. But if you were looking for the dip and rip in the chips, it was because of ASML. We've been talking about this. It happened with TSM. It happened with SMCI. It happened again here with ASML, where you had another chip name with a big earnings beat, and then the other ones just go absolutely ham. The more I see this, the more I'm a little bit concerned that this NVIDIA earnings are going to be a sell event. Like when these guys have to report and it's not other people's good news, I think it could be a little bit of trouble.
All right, we just got another fill down there at 176.90. Sorry, 175.90 there on AMD. And as Neil was saying that, he's 100% right. You don't have to have that trade at the top in order to make money. The number one stock here for me today is AMD, and all we've done is shorted these pops. And I said that we would be very, very patient and wait for these moves to happen. And that's why you can see we are just stone cold chilling right now. I mean, this is chill mode right here, not sicko mode. We already went sicko mode earlier. Right now it's chill mode. And yeah, you can see right here, look at Alibaba. I mean, another banger right there for Baba. Now 60 cents in the money and probably still going, man. So here we go. It's Alibaba. It's a lot of fun. And we're still in that name. So we're going on it. We'll wait to see. There it goes. It's $1 now from that 74, but we didn't get down that low. So we'll just take 70 cents and buy Baba right here on the low of the day. When you're buying Baba on the low of the day and it's doing these kind of moves, today is a good day. So we've got everything for you. We also have Tesla, which is again right back up into the winning spot here for us. That is Tesla really doing well. Tesla now 60 cents in the money, and we've had to hold this. So it's a good trade there for Tesla. It's a good trade for Plug. It's a good trade for Alibaba. And here goes AMD again. So let's just go, man. We're spinning it today. like I said, if you're not excited about making winning trades, then unfortunately this show is not going to be for you. But we're still going, and we're not stopping until I have a day off. But for right now, we're here, and we are print city all over the place. I just hope that everyone's enjoying the show. I mean, we're giving you guys different opportunities, different things to trade, right? Like, I'm the guy here today. We made money on, look at the different styles. This is about being comfortable with how you trade. Okay, SoFi, $8 stock, absolutely cranked. Plug, same kind of a thing, okay? Smaller float name, perfect. AMD, the wild one, if you're looking for those kind of trades, it's the #1 stock. Alibaba, you're looking for some Chinese plays, we've got that as well. Disney, you want to lose some money, we got Disney for you. And then the name that everyone loves to trade, Tesla, that's going to be, again, one of the top stocks. So far, so good, man. Thank you so much to AntStack. Thank you so much to everybody in there. Neil and I killing it, and we definitely appreciate that. It doesn't happen every day, but it definitely happens more days than not.
Exactly. That's, well, the thing about it is, it's about the setup, it's about the trade, it's about the idea, and then all you got to go there and execute. So everyone, do your own thing. I see people trading stocks that I haven't even looked at today. I know we're not going to cover everything. We're going to do our best to look at all the stocks. In the middle of the day, when things slow down, we can look at some of these other ones out there. But Getter's now starting to make its move. Sometimes you have to be patient with the plan of action. So I'm now in, so it just got to 50. So what was planned? Have half the trade for a 50 break. So I have half the trade for a 50 break. I'll look back and ask myself why I didn't jump back. I liked it at 36 early in the pre-market and then didn't like it at 36 here. So that's a question I have to ask myself. But we got a couple of dip buys in here. I'm looking for the 50 break. We're going to hang on to this one to see if it can go a little bit higher. I think there's plenty of room for this to continue to go. Alibaba's still looking pretty good. It's now above VWAP and continuing to trend higher. Just try to be consistent within your own style, right? So whatever your trade setup is, if you're trading, shout out to Tyrone, if you're trading EVAX and you can have something, if something makes sense for you on this stock, more power to you. Yeah. It broke a double top at $10. Like, this actually technically looks great. It halted at 970, which is yesterday afternoon's high. It opened up, retested the whole price, and then ran. So you could have taken like a $10 long and underneath the whole price, and Bob's your uncle. That wasn't my cup of tea, but that would have actually won you $3 today on EVAX. So congratulations if you happen to be in that. Maybe you're in another small cap, and Adair is about to talk about one of the ones you're in.
Yeah, IWM here, the Russell 2000, slightly positive on the day. Really nice bounce off of that just below 196 area. So it looks like we could be seeing a bit of a continued move to the upside here for these small caps. Lots of runners today, as Neil just mentioned. Evaxion, one of them here, EVAX, said to develop tailored novel cancer vaccines. So definitely one to watch, up over 100% on the day. We also have here, next up to watch here is going to be SciSpark, SPRC revealing a $20 million standby equity purchase agreement. This one halted a little bit earlier, still pretty strong, up about 74% on the day. And last but not least, we do have, just a moment here, Cura Oncology. So this one announcing an oversubscribed $150 million private placement. This is going to be KURA, making another nice bounce to the upside here, guys.
Cura, yeah, Cura coming through again. Right now, you know what, guys? Like, I don't have a problem telling you when I've completely, shit the bed and am, near the bottom of the pack. Today, we'll raise the trophy again here. So I'm really happy with what we're doing today. We've really, hit some of these levels. So I'm going to probably now just try to find, like we always do, man, like crazy good setups, because I don't want to blow through what we've done already here today. So that's something that I've got on my mind right now. So, bear with. I do like JP Morgan up here. Hopefully that can do something. And then this is another trade here. AMD just fell in about almost $2. Went to almost $1.50 or whatever. Went down to 175 and held that. So although I said that we would be a little more conservative about trying to get out of this, I know that's more aggressive, but I don't want to just start layering out as as the profits start coming in. We're trying, that's, as I said, we're trying not to look at the net because that's not what should base your trades. It's just I don't want to start throwing some of this back as we're just trying to base out what we're doing right now. The trade that I'll probably hold until maybe 4 o'clock is going to be Tesla. Into earnings, I wonder if we just bottom there. I missed the bottom by 25 cents. So that's fine. You're going to miss bottoms all the time. But we're just going to wait for this and see what happens now on Tesla for the rest of the day. So to take a line from Adara, Tesla today will be no stressla. We'll sit in it and wait and see if it pops higher because we've already cashed out. This thing could break through 208 and we're still up on it. Alibaba there, the 74 level, it held, it went to 74.30. Once we saw that bottom being made right there, it was kind of a no-brainer to do that. The one thing that I've done for myself is to try to remember what stocks we like and then wait for key levels, maybe ones that we don't even have written down because a lot of the time they won't get to those levels. So those are little things that I'm looking at right there. Other than that, man, it's just been a pretty fun day. I'm gonna start looking at the chat for some more ideas. My one was JP Morgan if we did get back up to 170. So I feel like that's something that we can look at.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I mean, NVIDIA is absolutely flying here. We talked about the plan for Getter. It didn't break that 50 level. You have a 51 pre-market high. I acknowledge that, but pre-market highs, they can matter. Sorry, the open range highs. Those are like wick tops. So the 50 level is where the selling is, and then you have wick tops over. So when it failed that, I take out another third because if it comes into VWAP, I want to be able to put that back on. So with just a bit of an adjustment, I'm still going to hang on to. We're going to hang on to overall a third of our position from what we had at that bottom. So I want to give it a chance, and it's the same thing or similar thing with Funware. Funware broke the low, got down to 33, which is this weird pre-market wick here. Volume's an issue in the pre-market, 33 cents. At the end of the day, 33 is a big level, not because of what I see there, but because of what I see back here. So it bounced off 33, take a little bit more out. The trend is still continuing to the downside. So still nice, relaxed. It hasn't really threatened to the upside at any point just yet. So I want to give it a chance maybe to go 30, 28s, all that good stuff. Keeping an eye on DWAC because I like Funware short because it's not as strong as DWAC. Well, DWAC's not flushing anymore. Like it's holding the lows. So if DWAC were to break VWAP, then I need to cover some Funware. If I see that happening, I'm going to move over and probably punch a quarter or half of it out because I'm seeing DWAC start to pick up steam, and I want to respect that. DWAC is like my futures for Funware. When DWAC flushed, we shorted Funware, and it was a better move to short that one. As far as NVIDIA is, I don't like chasing tops. You got to set yourself a rule. I said I don't like chasing tops, and then NVIDIA goes like $7. So this one is absolutely on one today. Up at 3.5%. I said ARM was on the bid for ARM. This is when I liked it. Look what happened. It's just absolutely off to the races. But the way I see it, it's been a consistent last month and a half. Some of that has come from accepting when you miss a trade and then moving on to the next one instead of getting FOMO. FOMO to me would be trying to get into ARM here. It's already moved $1. If you miss a dollar move, it doesn't mean you have to buy the top.
Thank you, Adam, and everybody else who liked that little trophy thing there. It's just for fun. My son made that for me. But yeah, I mean, that's part of trading. It's kind of like when you actually win something, you get excited for it. So I just raised it up right there. And I'll turn it upside down when we're in last place. So don't worry about that. But that you go with the ups and downs. And if we're going to be here and try to be honest with everybody, that's what we're going to do. So good trade there for us here today. Tesla did fall back. We've already talked about that. What else do you guys want to look at? Is DWAC underneath? Okay, let's look at DWAC then real quick here, and we'll see if we can get something going on DWAC. 43, oh, okay, you guys maybe tricked me there. Not much happening for DWAC. Oh, but while you were gone, by the way, we did it again right there, another 40 cents on AMD. We just shorted 25s there, right there, or sorry, 20, was it 25s? What price do I have? 23s? So we just shorted 23s right there. There's 80s, so there's another 50 cents. I don't even, honestly, guys, like this is what we're doing. Thank you, Professor, for that. It's just another move back in. Let's put a bid in the 70s. Like, I feel like this is going to get taken out on the top side. There is no doubt about that one. But at the same time, we're going to wait to see what happens here with AMD. And if I can get something out at 75, we'll do that again as I sit here and watch it. It's just going back and forth. It's been quite a good day here for AMD short if you've had it up here. The long's really only been good once, and that was kind of like just right off the jump if you sort of had that 173 break. And then I guess you could have bought it, I guess there was another right here where we got out right there at 175 could have given you an indication as well for that trade. So yeah, so far so good. We just have a bid in the 70s. Hopefully it'll flush down and give us that. Let's just look back at Disney. So Disney goes down to 93.60. There wasn't, it's not really too much of a level anywhere here. That's 93. I mean, we could get it back here to 93.40, 93.60. There could definitely be something there for Disney. So that could be a level. Feel like we were just wrong on that one. I mean, we wrote down 94. It's at 94, but we did take a 10-cent hit there, not even. Actually, it wasn't even. That's why I was talking about it being a cup of coffee, because we're actually, that long is at 94.05, and those out, some's at 15 and some are at 20, and then that dropout is at 90. So it's roughly the same, but we only got out of like 30% there. So that's where the hit comes from on that trade. All right. Yeah, I was just gonna go look. No, neither do I. We were just looking at it, but come on back in for AMD, man. It just went back into the 80s again. I'm wondering if it just doesn't want to break 80 for some random reason here. So I'm just gonna put a bid back down low into those we'll go mid 80s again. That sucks to miss that trade by like basically 5 cents, and there it goes right back up to the upside. So let's get another piece out on AMD here, mid 80s. We're trying to hold anyways, so it doesn't really matter, but we do have to play off support and resistance, right? And it looks like it's getting supported a little bit here in the mid 80s, and there it is right there. That's why you do that. Now, whether or not this drops down or not, I have no idea. But if you want to talk about scalping as a strategy, man, this is exactly what we do every single day. I'm only a scalp trader pretty much, right? For everybody here, what we're showing you guys. That's the kind of trading, and if you're doing that, then you take out 40 cents, or 40 cents there on AMD, especially when it's going back and forth. Any recent positions before Adara?
Well, I was saving this until it actually broke above 50. Get her done.
Nice.
I don't do a very good accent or impression, but it finally broke that 40. Now we got the press into 55. So I held on. It was a half of the position, and then when it failed 50, then a third of the position. I took out another 75% there when it made the push into 55. So that's the move that we're looking for on Getter. The only regret I'll have with this stock, like I said, I'm very self-critical. When I sat down, I liked this at 36. I liked it at 36 when I sat down. I scalped it for 1 cent, and then I didn't get back in when 36 held 2 times. You've got to be able to self-reflect. Why did I not have this trade earlier? Why did I not have this break? Why did I not have that dip? It's my mentality. That's just how I work every single day. But I'm going to hold on to some of this for the dream. As long as it's above VWAP, I'll give it a chance. We've scalped most of it out at this point. Let's get on to the desk for the crypto update and ask ourselves why we didn't trade Mara.
We have an update here from Hut 8 after that short report last Thursday from J Capital. Hut 8 falling 23%. Following that report, basically now Hut 8 coming out with a press conference saying that report was full of inaccuracies and that there aren't really any issues with the merger, which was the main crux of that J Capital short report. Just a bit of an update here from Hut 8. In terms of Bitcoin itself, seeing a nice little pump to the push to the upside here, back above or dancing around that 40,000 level. We're just below it now, but really nice recovery after falling to 7-week lows and the lowest level it's been at since the confirmation of those spot Bitcoin ETFs during yesterday's session. So definitely a nice look to the upside for Bitcoin. Right now we're just pennies below that $40,000 level. Ethereum also up about 1%, just above that 2,200 level. Solana really strong, up about 6%. Avalanche up 7%, and Cardano up about 1.5%, guys.
Yeah, see you later. It works until it doesn't. So we'll hit siren alert for AMD. There it goes. I mean, I feel really good about that trade. We had that 10% left. Not even. We had less. I mean, we had less from, these were the bigger ones. That was the last little reload there. But again, it will still be my top stock today, will be AMD, despite getting it kicked right there back up to the upside. I now leave AMD alone. And we initiated another position right here. It's JP Morgan. We told you that we would try to hit this. So now we're short onto JP Morgan. And let's just wait to see. We're short right now at 80, what is it, 86, 84s. There it is. We get a 74 fill. So that's it. You guys know the kind of pieces we like around here, and that's a dime. And so we'll take that and see what happens now on JP Morgan. We still have Plug Power and SoFi, those positions trying to make some money as well there.
So I saw in the chat someone just said there's a lot of positions on, but just to give you an idea, there's only one stock that I've been in from the jump. Like I've been in and out of things, that's my style, but the one that I've been in and reloading was Getter. Fisker, like I jumped into this one off VWAP. I'm going to adjust my plan of action here because it goes, 86 half into 85. I think at this point it's like, okay, 87 breaks. It's not moving enough to necessarily mess around with this too much. So we'll give this one to 87 instead of above VWAP. I just feel it's not moving enough. And if it's not really going, then you want to shift your attention somewhere else. So I have to cancel my other stop before I do that. So anyways, that's an adjustment here for Fisker. We jumped into the short. Yeah, it's working, but it's not going crazy. We're going to go back to Adara, but DWAC's moving. I told you what would happen if DWAC moved.
Just an update here from the crude oil inventories. Crude oil getting a little bit of a spike here off those inventories. The draw of 9.233 million versus the estimate of the 2.15 million and the previous draw of 2.492 million here. So big jump up for those crude oil futures, guys.
I was actually just telling Sean, like, so when you trade the markets a lot, I dream level 2 sometimes. There was a thing about oil futures trading on this floor. It was probably over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably over 10 years ago. And it wasn't a good trade for a couple people. And I just had like a flashback nightmare about it last night on a crude oil inventories number.
I remember that one.
And like some people were trapped on the floor and they couldn't get out. It is what it is. Sometimes you have these weird dreams. I did not even remember that was going to happen today. But I said if DWAC started going, I would punch out. I didn't punch out of all of Funware because I want to give it a chance back at that 38 entry in VWAP, but I did punch out at 36, half of what I was still holding because DWAC was starting to go. Right? Like what did I say? DWAC breaks VWAP, that's a decision-making point on Funware. So what was my decision? Get out half when it breaks 36. If we hold underneath VWAP and 38's a good short again and DWAC starts to go down, like if I see DWAC rejecting back into the lows, then fine, I can just add back into that trade. But it's all about managing the trade. GameStop, I scalped it a couple of times to the downside. Sorry, I scalped out of it a couple of times. It hasn't broken. If it gets above 14.10, that was going to be my out. As long as it's underneath that support, I'll give it a chance. If it rolls over, I can always add back into it. But that was just a breakdown trade that we're out of most of. Getter, the adjustment on the plan there. We talked about a couple of times. I'm actually throwing offers above the high and then in front of 60, and just a refresher on this stock. The reason I liked it above 50 is because you had this 58 top and then a 68 top. So I want to get one out if it breaks toward 58, and then if it breaks 58, one in front of the 60, which I'd expect to probably have like 1 million shares on it or something because it's a penny stock. And if it breaks that, hold some for the dream in the afternoon as that continues to go. I don't know what to say about NVIDIA here.
I was just looking at it. I was like, I guess the next stop is 7 bills. I don't know. We're $1 in the money on Tesla, and we're not taking it out. But it's, it's this story to me that means everything. It's NVIDIA. NVIDIA just keeps on going, man, and it's taking everything with it. It's like literally taking everything with it. It's taking
caution.
AMD. Yeah, is Micron? That was the only one.
No, ASML is the one that had the earnings.
Yes.
Part of it's not a fear thing, but just watch out for 11:30 when Europe closes. Like ASML is now up 10% and continuing to go. Like this thing is ramping and just continuing. Like when the U.S. market opened, this was flat. The U.S. market opened and it's been shooting to the upside. They're the ones that reported that started some of this. So if they pull back on the European close, that could be an interesting TSN turning point. I don't know why I keep saying TSN turning point. A turning point for some of the other chip names. I'll be watching 11:30 closely to see how ASML closes. If it closes down, I might look for some shorts in some of the chip names.
I like that TSN turning point.
Well, you only get that if you're Canadian. You guys don't know about TSN. It's like ESPN.
Yeah, I think some people would know about it, but ESPN must have something like that at the end of the day. I don't know.
Do they?
I don't know. I don't watch ESPN too much. Okay. Being here in Canada again, of course. All right, so
That's one reason.
yeah, ARM. I was just sort of talking about like everything getting dragged up here, right? And whether or not it's ARM or anything else. Alibaba just came back in, by the way.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
right
good.
back to the half.
We still have 20% left. We've got out 20, 20, 20, 20. Yeah, so this drew back in as well. You might want to look at a 70s. I was just trying to find names that sort of match with what I'm trying to look at. This is back to 77, underneath the 200 period. ARM possibly here for a short. The only idea would be short on ARM is the fact that, hold on a second, I can bring this over here a little bit so we can see that a little bit better, is just that you could, just for risk to reward, you know, if this market does sort of peak out right here, you do have a nice downside opportunity here for ARM, giving you not too much risk just over this 77. So I actually think there's an opportunity here to take a little bit of a risk with ARM. So we'll try to do that and see if we can get some fills on this and then worry about it later. So we'll see about getting some fills here on ARM, take a little bit there, try to get a little bit more, and then watch out for a break of 77. But I think it's going to have to get to like 77.15 or so on the top side for ARM. So we'll take the short now, see if it wants to work out for us. But now we're short. Okay, now we're short more as it just ripped up there. So you got to sit in there and take the shares, right? So we're short ARM right now at 76.85. We're going to get out. Okay, now it's really starting to go. Remember what we said, if this market rips, this will be a problem. So 77.15 could be a small hit here, and it's a hit on ARM if we do get it. We're short at 76.90 for everybody following along here on ARM.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit heavy to the upside. That's not even a good word. Like, we're just absolutely quote levitation is not really the word. We're flying. Like, the market is certainly starting to fly. The NASDAQ's 1.2. We've seen this turn into like 2% days, but I'm going to show you, this is the NASDAQ flying to the upside. But I got to show you what's going on with the ES, because it's not like everything is the same. The ES is now just testing the highs, and it's perfect timing, because when I see the NASDAQ flying like that, and you see the ES possibly rejecting the tops, let's go to Sector Watch and get an idea of what might be weighing the S&P 500 down.
Definitely some weakness in health technology, with the notable exception of Eli Lilly up after a price target increase from Wells Fargo to 700. Other than that, though, lots of weakness here in health tech. Also weak, consumer non-durables, transportation a little bit weaker as well, and communications getting weighed down by AT&T, after earnings. In terms of other sectors, keep an eye on finance, pretty strong across the board here. Watch out for Progressive, much stronger after earnings here, up about 5%. Also, of course, always worth noting these tech-related sectors. Technology services strong across the board, definitely lifted to the upside here by Netflix after its earnings. And then also these chip names really strong again. NVIDIA, AMD really strong here after another upgrade. Lots of tech strength, and also, of course, just one to keep an eye on as well in consumer durables, Tesla, with earnings on watch for tonight, guys.
No doubt, but you saw on that board, you saw like Walmart down, Costco down, Procter down, Home Depot down, but not a lot. But the market's up. I think that's what's holding us back here. The first thing I thought was, like, where's Costco if it's actually giving a down day, but it's not down that much.
I'm worried about PayPal.
Yeah, it's not really down that much at all. So respect to Costco. Getter just made another pullback. And again, I wanted to hold on to that last little bit. I did trail out, and we're holding on to about 12%, and that's now cut in half when it failed the 50 level. So let's wait for it to get back in. At that point, you don't want to throw good money into bad, but I do like the notion of a dip buy, but I don't want the sellers to start to get too emboldened underneath the 50 level without covering some. So we want to make sure we don't turn a good trade into a bad one. I'll wait for VWAP and then be patient. Why, brothers? Why is Home Depot down? I just listed the names of stocks I saw on Sector Watch that were down. Like, they're part of the same retail group, which is not strong when it's the chips and tech that are carrying the day. Like NVIDIA over here, like, it's about to press 620. Like, that's completely insane. Our AMD's up 6%. So I just, maybe it's the rotation, who knows? But it's just tech up, and some of the more stable retail names are kind of to the downside. So, you know, it is what it is an overused term, but sometimes you got to call it like it is. You're getting that strength. So Fisker, we got 86 half into 85. It's right back up to 87. I tighten my stop. It breaks 87. I'm just going to get out. You know, I'm not going to fight anything to the short side. If it breaks my stops, then we just get out. I adjusted my stop on fun. As I said, punched out half the position when it got to the 36. If it can hold 38, great. If it can't hold 38, bye-bye. I'm out. I'm short at 30. So it says I'm short 38. I'm short 37.75. They don't do, like, our positions in penny stocks don't show like anything past a 1/10 of a cent, because obviously most stocks above $1 you show just 2 decimal places. But at 37.75, it does matter. Like if I was short 37.01, like that's a full penny worth of risk. That's a couple percentage points. It matters.
So someone in the chat there was like, oh man, Sean has courage shorting in a bull market. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you have to have brains to do that. I mean, we just tried to short ARM and that ripped up. So we will hit a fail on that short idea because that was not a short at all. So now we'll see if we can lose a lot of money here on ARM, because if this goes back below 77, then it kind of breaks the other way right now. Let's see if it continues to go high side right now. You are starting to get, I was just going to say, there is some offers there starting to stack up a little bit. You just saw someone put up, I think it was 10,000 shares there against this position. So that doesn't make me super happy, but we'll wait to see what happens now. See, now it's starting to fall here on ARM, which is fine. We're long at 77.30, but you can see what the spread, about 10 cents or so, which actually is pretty reasonable for ARM. So I don't feel like the slippage has too much. So for those of you asking, right, what's up to Manic here? Did you miss the lunch menu? I'll get that for you in a second. What's up to Manic R right now? AMD, did you cover? So you can just see all of our positions at the bottom. So right now, I was short AMD, right? So we don't have it. Let's just have a quick look at what AMD is doing. Wow, yeah. So here's the cover right there. Right where we got in was the cover, right? 176.50. I say this often, but obviously not often enough. And that is that I feel like the best covers need to come and then reverse. So like when I'm getting nervous about a position, and we keep doing this, and AMD is my #1 stock today on the short side of things, by the way. So we have to remember that. But it was easy to cover it once it broke that high. So you got to sort of look and pay attention to see what Neil and I are doing there on the bottom of the screen. And here we go, man. ARM, we just got a couple outs at 50. So that's 20 cents back in there for ARM. So let's see if it'll continue to sort of make that move higher. And then there goes Tesla. We said we'd hold it, but we got to hit it when it's $1 in the money. Tesla now $1 in the money and starting to go back up. And look where it's at, man. It's at, this is why first of all, we have it so we can see our net going, but it's right there, 211.50 for Tesla. Now breaking higher, so here we go. Like this stock a lot, it's Tesla going higher here.
Yeah, Tesla joining the party. If it breaks out, I mean, the NASDAQ is kind of turned around a little bit here. We get a second leg. If something other than the chips start taking us higher, that would be more than welcome because the chips have done the heavy lifting. Just to Sean's point, I had 4 positions, I have 3. Right, so you see, like I said, I know I said just a second ago, 38 on Funware, we'd get out of the last of it. Made a decision at 36. DWAC was absolutely flying. We got 34.7s. We're scalping the first penny and the second penny. When it breaks, we wait for 35, 34, and 33. Like it's not that complicated when I'm trading a penny stock. I put bids out in front of the even cents each time, and then we punched out of half of it when it broke back up because DWAC was doing this. Like DWAC is breaking higher. Maybe it makes another run at 50. But if I see DWAC fail yesterday's close, fail the 50 level, fail VWAP, I'm jumping right back on over to Funware and taking the shot at that one short. Getter just bounced a little bit here. I'm kind of hoping the curl on the chips could wait until 11:30, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case. Let's go over to Adara. I think we've got some news.
Spirit Aerosystems popping up on volume here a little bit early today, right before open. It was reported by the Seattle Times that it was Boeing, not Spirit, that it misinstalled the piece that did blow off that Alaska MAX 9 jet. So this is certainly something to keep an eye on, reported by sources here by the Seattle Times, up about 5% right now on SPR.
Okay, so yeah, SPR, of course, we'll talk about that in a minute. That's Spirit Aero Systems, so good look on that, breaking through the high of $28 right now. ARM, we took another piece out there at 50. It's just hovering around there, so we'll check that out. This is the other Spirit, what I thought she was going to go with, but it's SAVE, and SAVE is going one way, SPR going the other. Of course, SAVE has nothing to do with the Boeing. And here you go, SPR. Oopsies, right here, SPR going the other way, starting to go back up to the upside. Thanks to Dara for that one, as there's a lot of traders pretty interested in what is happening with this name. So we'll continue to watch out SPR, starting to break a little bit higher. Like I said about that Boeing, I mean, it's probably going the other way, but I don't know enough about SPR to comment, but I was just saying, I like the Boeing dip out of all of these. So this is the name that I think we could be supporting. And look at that, man, 209.50. That's another missed opportunity right there as well.
So, well, I said 11:30. Maybe wait for 11:30 for a bit of a chip turn. But the market started to turn, and Micron came right into the level that I like. And a lot of times when I'm looking for a pullback trade, it's like get to pre-market. If a pre-market bottom ever has any confluence with another level, which yesterday, the opening range, every time we say confluence, there's the open, sorry, this is the first pop yesterday into 88 in the quarter, right at about 940. So when I see a level like that where it's sold off for good in yesterday's trade and the market's a little bit toppy, if I see us showing resistance there, I sort of jumped in. I want to be able to give this to about 88.30, so I'll give myself some time to add to this one. Got to give it a little bit of room here because I am short 15s. And I do want to get out above 30. I'd like to risk about 20 cents on the trade. VWAP sits there about 50 cents lower, so that's why I want to give about 20 cents on Micron. I understand the market, like the chip names have been strong, but Micron, despite being up 0.75%, this did sell off kind of the same way like Intel had that big sell-off. Intel just a little bit stronger on the way back in. Like I liked it at 49. Thank goodness I got away from that trade. One in, one out. And the idea for me is I never want, like, I'll take this trade here, which is not going to work, but then I, lose about a third. I never want to lose more than half of what I can make on a good trade. So if Getter is X and Intel in this case is a third, Meta, which was a loss, that'll be about half. Intel ended up strong, just not at the level that I wanted. And if Intel continues to hold, I'd rather be looking for longs in Intel, but I like the short now in Micron. Time for a little money talks. I haven't really looked at the USD today. I wonder if it's still strong versus the CAD.
Bit of a dip down here for the USD, though it did recover a little bit off those crude oil inventory numbers. The draw coming in at 9.233 million versus the expected 2.15 million. So big jump up there. We also did get earlier today those global services PMI for January, 52.9 versus 51 expected. Add that global U.S. manufacturing PMI also coming in a bit higher than expected here, 50.3 versus the estimate of 47.9. Once again, two big numbers to keep an eye on coming into the rest of the week for the DXY. Those are going to be the GDP growth for the quarter over quarter that's coming tomorrow. And then on Friday, we do get that PCE number. So lots of data to keep an eye on, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
We have a new position alert right now. It's going to be another one because it's another position, but we'll see if we can get, shout out to Hydration Nation. All right, so we just shorted Starbucks right there. You put beans and water, you make a lot of money. It's coffee. 95.20. Let's see about a short here. Just trying to play off of this kind of a level in Starbucks, kind of like a 93 level, but even a little bit better than that, like 92.90 for an out if that comes into play. We also shorted Micron. We're starting to take some out here, 11s and 12s on that one, so we like that play here on Micron. We'll see if that one will continue to work to the short side. Tesla's now $1.50 in the money as we go right back up to the high of the day. What's for lunch, though? All right, today's been full of these, as you guys know, on both sides of the table. We've been really trading really well today, and I just hope that all of you enjoy the show. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe, and do that immediately for us, please, and thank you. Today's, though, if you like barbecue chicken and you potentially like Korean food, then maybe you like Korean barbecue chicken today, which is what's on the menu with bok choy and vegetable rice. So there you go. You get what's for lunch today. It's barbecue chicken, so you could cook that up, put a little bit of that on there, but that is what is for lunch. Korean barbecue chicken coming through to a restaurant near you.
I'm gonna have to augment my salad today with some
barbecue chicken. Yes, sir. Let's go, Mike Ron.
I was just looking to see if like maybe Branko wasn't here. I'd be like, I'll just have some of his. You know, we get the salad, Sean. I get the salad. Brendan gets a salad. It's healthy, but when it's a really good lunch, it's there. If there's leftovers, I'll be there.
That should be healthy, man. Barbecue chicken.
No, but you know, we're not. You know, our salad's gonna have like grilled chicken or something sort of bland or boring on it.
Let's go, Mike Ron.
Micron started to head to the downside. I don't know if we're actually going to see the chips fall as much as the market just did, but I'm looking for VWAP in here. The NASDAQ falling, like notice this, like Micron, we just short, like it goes like 10, 15 cents, slight pullback, but the NASDAQ just pulled back like a good 30, 40 points. So big move into the downside. Well, not a big move, but a solid move to the downside. I'd like to express it in what I thought was a chip name that was weak. So far, it's starting to move here. NVIDIA still looking pretty decent. BABA bounced, that long looking okay. One name that we haven't talked about even once today, which is weird. I don't think we've ever gone the entire morning show. It'll probably happen.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've gone the whole morning without talking about Apple. Apple, like everything else, is probably pretty strong. But there was a 3-day top that Apple broke. So just very quickly here, this is 195 change, 195 change yesterday. It's broken the 195, and I think it's like 30 or something. So just call it the quarters for simplicity's sake.
Tesla.
As long as this holds above that, I think you got a bit of a trend to the upside. So I'm liking what I see from Apple, especially on this dip. If we can get like some VWAP consolidation or even like down at that 25, 30 that we were talking about, I would look for some longs here in Apple for the afternoon.
Was a little bit of a gulp because there goes Tesla, man. It's riding that bull right there up to the upside, and here we go. This is not a Tesla. Max, of course, is in the Lambo, but you know they're trying to go here. There goes Tesla. Nice little move up to the upside there for Tesla. And no stress-la here. You're about to hear a bunch of that stuff coming up with Adara, so I should stop. But okay, so there it goes. It's a huge move, man. We wrote down 210. We said we'd stick with it, and there it goes. $2 in the money. It did go against us almost $2, so it's not like. You know, but that's why we took it, like we knew what we were doing this whole time. There's the take at 211, and there's the take at 211.75. So now that we're up here, we just wait for it. I said that I was certain, I'm not certain, but I do like the fact that this probably, I think it could go up tomorrow. I really like the catalyst today, and we talked about that right here on the sticky note, right? I mean, I'm just going to keep on showing it because, you know, people asking about it. We do it on the recap show as well. And the thing is that it's not hitting perfectly. There's 210. I thought I was going to write down, might look like a 6 there, but 210 right now. I really like the catalyst of a cheaper model. And I was saying that in here, if there was any other day, this would have been like a monster long. It's just I did, obviously, as most of you should have as well, get nervous when we saw Tesla today coming into, exactly, so good talk there. Calendar matters, as Neil just mentioned. So I think it matters a lot. And what we both mean by that is just that as you can trade here, earnings are tonight. So we're going to have a big earnings board. If you want to throw up that earnings board.
I was going to say, can we throw
Ramin, when you get a second, because yeah, pretty important to have a look to see who's reporting today and who isn't, and then
hugely important.
Trade accordingly.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing about Micron is here, I took, again, my strategy is to take more shares and try to scalp it out as fast as possible. And then so when this thing went down, my out is 88.25. We're short at 18, that's 7 cents worth. We got 18 cents, so we just like, we might have even got a 97. Did that break through 97? No, my best fill is 01s there. So we wound up taking on average probably about 15 cents there to the downside. So again, just be careful here with Micron as it's trying to get back upside a little bit. I'll reload it up there in and around 88.20 with the stop at 88.25. Okay, let's, are we ready there? Okay,
board, maybe?
not yet.
Okay,
but
no, that's cool.
It's coming up in a minute. So we did get out of some more plug there. We don't have too many shares left. That came down to the 50-period moving average. We actually have about 2 or 3% left of plug. And then we also did get out. We'll go to the earnings board in a second. We also got out of some SoFi as well down there. So.
Baba dipped. It got back to VWAP. Just one more thing. Let's go back to the earnings board right now. We got like 2.5 minutes. Look, it's not just. I know everyone's interested in Tesla, but you've got Lam. You saw what happened today with.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot.
Shoot, now I'm already forgetting ASML. But Lam is in a similar business, right? They're a supplier for the semiconductor industry. So aftermarket, they're a big one. They're a big bellwether. AMAT's probably going to move on them as well. IBM, you don't want to sleep on them. ServiceNow. Then tomorrow morning, Southwest. The airlines tend to move a little bit, and Alaska. Alaska's obviously been in the news. American, Alaska, and Southwest. Let's see if they can go flying. You saw what already happened with Spirit and Mobileye.
Yeah, Mobileye.
Well, I said I would wait and then maybe
Mobileye.
wait till after. No, remember they had the guide. It was an early guide that they.
Were they on the board? I didn't see them.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, they're right at the level that they guided down to.
Well, so they guided poorly and then got absolutely huadoomed.
They went up to 32.
I own shares. You heard me wax poetically. I think I didn't drop any expletives about it or anything, but I did say I had some rather harsh words. But again,
Okay.
they guided down to here. Let's see what the numbers come out tomorrow. There's a lot of movers that aren't Tesla, is what I'm getting at. Speaking of movement, Alibaba dipped right back into the 74.5 level. So grab the dip buy. It's right back into VWAP. I still think this can break 75 and get into said high of the day. Getter's now calmed down. It didn't give VWAP for a reload. So it's still going higher. Like I said, I'm really holding us onto a small fraction of it. It's actually 6%. I said 5. It's like 6% of what we had at that VWAP bottom. But I still think if it can break the tops, you got 58, you got 68 that are big key levels to set upside. For whatever reason, I had said Fisker was about to stop out, but my stop is 87. There's not even that much size at 87. There really isn't that. Like, there's a few thousand shares at 87, but 87 has been a brick wall anyways. It's a bit of a refresher at that level.
Okay.
So it's not size on the offer. It's just somebody that just keeps, every time it get hit for 1,000 shares, they just show up. So it's probably there could be 100,000 or 200,000 shares on that offer, but it's not displaying anything. But it's a brick wall at 87 on Fisker. I'm getting out if it breaks that. So it's been a solid morning here. We'll look for some continuation. Watch out at 11:30 when the European market closes. If ASML closes down, I wouldn't wonder if there's some kind of a pullback in some of the chip names.
We just got more shares on Starbucks right there, and it's trying to do its dance again here. So we'll see if we can get a bid there at 61 and a little bit lower here on SPUX against that 90 level. We talked about that one. Look, it's been a great day, and it's about to get a lot better. We do have the midday. Do we have a name for it yet? Just how to trade. Okay. Yeah, okay.
It's a
good
little
one.
on
It makes
the nose.
sense. You
It's
know,
on the nose.
when you're Googling something, you can figure it out. All right. So I want to go over that. What are you guys doing today? Candlesticks? Continuation patterns with candlestick charting. So there we go. It's Sharif, it's Adara, and it's the midday. There he is, nice handsome gentleman. What's up,
Look
Sharif?
at that beard.
The beard game is strong.
Put it back up. We're not going to them for a second. Put it back up. There we go.
Bye-bye, Starbucks.
Look at that beard game. Everyone, before you go over to the midday, make sure you remind Sharif how fantastic the beard looks. I'm glad he's growing it back. Everybody's happy to see it. Go get him.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How